Cubbie blue blood flowing through our veins. Sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubbie, Son Ranto.
With Michael.
Son Ranto.
And Crawley.
Son Ranto and the lovable loser. Son Ranto.
With Michael.
Son Ranto.
And Crawley.
Son Ranto and the lovable losers. Son Ranto.
Oh, man, that made me want to punch Crawley in the face because he's right here. Welcome
Opening day.
Opening day,
Almost.
Eve.
Sort of.
Yeah. Welcome to the Son Ranto Show. Today, we got Crawley actually in Rocket Studios right now. So we're doing this a little different. Michael's got a much bigger head than us in real life, but today it's exaggerated. In order to not waste any more time, let me just give you a rundown of what's going to happen tonight. We got lots of guests coming through. We're going to talk about different Cubs-related topics as we go through the night. And our first guest is going to be Dom, the director of morale for the Chicago Cubs. After that, we're going to have Evan and John from Cubs Insider. Sara, Sanchez, and Joe Kilgallon are going to come through. Desipio, Andy, and Mike Pusateri are going to come on the show. Very funny gentlemen. Then we got my tie guy and Infield Fly Girl, the Bleacher Bum Band. Members of them are going to stop by. Eric Wielo, our old Brewers fan friend, is going to come and talk about this series and what's going to go on with the Brewers this year, which you're not going to like. And then we're going to have Greg Huss and Jimmy Nelligan from the Growing Cubs podcast and Northside Bound. And then we got a big reveal with Stewart McVicar and Club 400. And Crawley's going to be a part of that reveal too. So anyway, you got a jam-packed full night. So without further ado, everybody, round of applause for the director of morale. It's
Thank you, everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Three times. I feel very honored to be here. Every time's been great. And again, thank you for having me. Cubs baseball's back, and I think everyone's fired up, myself included.
Yeah, and I got to ask you right off the bat, Tom. So, I mean, morale took a huge hit on Blue Friday last year.
Yeah.
With Cub fans. I mean, the stands emptied out. It was kind of bleak there for a second, and then this offseason, we had the troubles with the contract. So morale's been taking a hit. Where do you see the state of Cub fans currently as far as morale, hope, all the positive vibes that we can give to the universe?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the best. It could be better, obviously, but I do think, and I'm not saying the Cubs fans deserve to go through this. I do think we're a smarter fan base now after going through the competitive window, after going through all that stuff, seeing kind of the business side really happen to us, lose all our guys, and like you refer to it as Blue. What did you say, Blue Friday, Danny?
Blue Friday, yeah. There's a song we'll be playing tomorrow called Blue Friday too.
Yeah, I think it's a great name. I think we're a smarter fan base. I think we have seen some stuff, if you will, and now. I think we're trying to rebuild ourselves again. I think it's great that the players fought for what they did over the offseason. Baseball's back, though, and I'm here to support the players. I think everyone can agree with that. Here to support the players. Here to support many of these guys that are trying to make a name for themselves. Frank Schwindel, guys that are trying to reclaim their career or really put up a really good year to whether that be, better the team, obviously, or bring some excitement to Wrigley Field. So I'm excited about it. It's great to have baseball back. It's not where we totally want to be, but it's better than being in a situation where there wasn't going to be any baseball, because that was looking like that might be the case.
Yeah,
I
figured there would be, but I thought it was going to be much later than what we're getting it right now. I think Crawley said the 15th, so we're actually getting it even before Crawley, and I think he was the most optimistic of all of us.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I was doing the spring training, when I went out there, I purposely got tickets for that third week because I knew that there's no way they could have done lost another season. So I'm happy that there's baseball. And after 3 straight weird COVID years, I'm just excited to go to what should be a semi-normal opening day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so Dom, I saw you tweet out the other day about the statue row that we're gonna get out in front of Wrigley at Gallagher Way.
Yep.
You know, the Cubs didn't do a great job of telling us what they were going to do in this situation by doing this. They just took the statues away and then told us later that they were going to put them back here. You know, I saw you had some feelings about that. You know, would you like to share those with us?
Yeah, Danny, but you know what? It's really been inspired by people like you. I mean, I need to ask you, how many times you walk around the federal landmark on a weekly basis?
It's how I get my steps in.
I think it's great. I'm jealous. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And the reason for why I was mad or frustrated about it, maybe more than some people thought I should be, is because those statues are sacred. Those statues mean a lot. Those statues, or not specifically the statues, but those players are why we are all Cubs fans. We come from different eras of, Cubs history. And many of those guys relate to us. They relate to our parents. They relate to grandparents, whatever it may be. And I thought it was really short-sighted to remove them without at least giving an explanation other than, all right, they're going to a storage facility in Michigan. Because I know people like you, other die-hard Cubs fans that live in the neighborhood, that take the walk around Wrigley and the friendly confines on a daily basis. That stuff matters to them, and I don't want to lose sight of that. Even if I don't make the same walk around the federal landmark on a consistent basis, like, I know there are plenty of Cubs fans that do. I think it's great that they're doing Statue Row, but kind of my overarching gripe with all of this, and I think many people would agree, is I think the Cubs need to be a lot more transparent with everything that they're doing. I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
You're talking about short-sightedness, and that's where I'm concerned. Is I'm okay with moving statues and stuff like that, but I mean, you're now taking away a large part of the footprint, like open footprint that's still left in Wrigley.
Yeah.
And guess what? There's going to be other guys that need statues too. They don't have that much space, and I don't like that sports book. So if you were telling me you had plenty of space and we could move the statues elsewhere, Harry Carey was originally on Clark or Addison and Sheffield, and now he's obviously on Addison and Waveland.
Yeah.
Or Sheffield and Waveland. So it's not like the end of the world, but it's like, are we just going to stuff these and make them look bad? Like, that's the other thing I'm worried about is the aesthetics too.
I totally agree. And I just think I've talked to a lot of people about this, and I know I had like the meatball take of, you need to tell everybody right now where they are. I get it's meatball-ish. I get it's kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, there's people within the organization that agree exactly with what we're saying. You can't do these types of things and not tell people. Like,
it's like,
I know it's crazy. I get it. I know it's crazy. But this is why the Chicago Cubs and Wrigley Field is different. Just because there's so many people that care about that type of stuff. You included, Danny, Crawley. I want to speak for you guys because and speak alongside other people because I know how much it means to them, and it means something to me too. That's why I'm a Cubs fan. Are those guys that are that have become statues, after their career and after their lives?
It's like you go to the cemetery and they moved your grandma's grave, and you're like, "Hey,
totally.
Where's Grandma? I came here to pray."
And it's also.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, I was going to say it also feels like a symptom of the overarching problem that the Cubs front office and ownership never seems to have like a plan. And if they do, nobody else knows what it is.
Yeah. Just crazy.
So it's like, it feels like the row of statues, that's fine. They've done that at other parks. I think they do that down in St. Louis.
It's nice. It'll look nice, actually. They'll get hit by children with baseballs often.
But maybe they should have been planning for this and like really like put some effort into it rather than like fly by the seat of their pants.
Guys, I think, and just to go off of what you were saying, it's the problem of transparency, but it's also the problem of having too many things on your plate. This ownership group is trying to buy Chelsea FC. I mean, they got every single real estate deal happening, north of Belmont. It's ridiculous. And that's the type of stuff where, and I don't mean to get into the Chelsea stuff, but it's like they have other things going on, but they have bigger issues here for the team that they actually own, which is one of the biggest franchises in the world and most popular franchises in the world. And again, it's short-sighted. It's mistakes that should not happen. It brings me back to Ron Santo and the birthday card.
The
going,
birthday.
and it's that type of stuff. It
Yeah.
can't happen. It can't happen. You guys have to be better than that. And Cubs fans have to hold the Chicago Cubs organization to a higher standard than that. I'm being a meatball, you have to hold the Cubs to a higher standard than that.
Well, and I would hope that they would hold themselves to another higher standard than that, because they are basically a top 5 baseball team in MLB. I did a quick Twitter poll, and I'm going to bring these up throughout the show. This is the first one just because you just mentioned it. I asked everybody on Twitter with 191 votes, number of professional sports teams owned by Ricketts, the over at the end of the year, over under 1.5, and 69.6% took the under, thinking that it's not going to happen, which that's a hell of a number, though. It's a nice number.
Yeah, it is.
It's very nice.
Yeah. But
a lot of nice votes out there.
So I'd say about 2/3 of the people think that Ricketts is not even going to get the team. So hopefully that doesn't, he can and I know what you did, the optics of it, right, Dom?
It's like terrible.
It's like, we can't really, we're going to send $150 million out there, even though we could afford $100 million more. And it's not even be over the luxury tax, but instead we're going to buy a $4 billion soccer team.
Exactly. And guess what? Tried to lie everybody and say that it's not going to affect the Chicago Cubs. What are we talking about?
Biblical losses.
We all know what the collateral for that loan is.
Yeah,
it's the Chicago Cubs.
Yes,
they fail over there, and which they won't. But if they did, we could have an English. I don't know. Somebody in Chelsea could own the Cubs instead.
Yeah,
a British oligarch, a royal, if you will.
A British bank.
I got some questions to ask you before we let you go here. First of all, this is another one of the Twitter polls. I'm going to be asking this of all of our guests, but we had 35.2% of 293 votes predict the Cubs as the Central Division winner, with the overwhelming majority being for the Brewers at 49.8%, 13.7% picked the Cardinals, and only 1.4% of at least my followers on Twitter picked the Reds. Where are you with this? Kind of, how do you see the division shaping up this year?
Yeah, it's really hard. I hate the Brewers, and we own their franchise up and their stadium specifically up in Wrigley North, but it's really hard to argue against that pitching staff. If they can stay healthy, it's almost murderer's row with those first 3 guys. So I hope the Cubs can stay competitive. I think they can compete. I'm not saying they're going to win the division. I'd probably say the Brewers has the best chance of doing so. I will say, though, and I think some people would agree, if the Cubs can stay healthy and stay around, or if you guys can take a step, I actually kind of sneaky like this lineup. There's something about it where I think what you're going to get with Madrigal for sure. If Nico can play to his, simple strength of putting the ball in play and, having good at-bats, those are 2 really good at-bats on a consistent basis. Willie in a contract year makes a big difference. He has a lot to prove considering how he's been treated by the front office. If Schwindel can pull it together, I know I'm saying a lot of ifs.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel a lot better about the hitters than I do the pitchers, even with the addition of Stroman. Miley, obviously, on the DL, but we'll see what happens. But if we can kind of, feel ourselves a little bit, guys start to get confident, I sneaky like this lineup.
Yeah. They can nickel and dime you to death, I feel like.
Yeah.
And but a couple of quick ones. This is the biggest, and then we're gonna let you go. This is the biggest morale number that I put out there as far as poll numbers go. Wrigley sellouts over under 0.5. Last year they didn't have a single full sellout. But still, Cub fans are optimistic here. They're gonna take the over. What do you think? Are the Cubs gonna have a sellout this year? Are they going to put some butts in the seats?
I do think they will have a sellout. Danny, I'm very surprised that they never had one. My ignorance thought they did. But I think if we can find a way to stay competitive, the peak of last year's season was that Cardinal series. Remember that in June, beginning of June, they won on that Sunday night, I believe, Sunday Night Baseball. I think I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but I think we can find ourselves in a scenario where we're playing a meaningful game like that again. And I truly believe, kind of what you were saying earlier, Crawley, this being like a real full season again without all these COVID restrictions and everything. I think there's a chance where we can get a sellout. I know that's crazy to even say because it's the Chicago Cubs, but like I do think we can get there and we can have a few meaningful games that replicated what we saw with the Cardinals last year, which was awesome, by the way.
And don't forget, you got the Boston coming in for the July 4th
Yeah,
series,
that
so
could be
that's
big.
going to be a big series
Yeah.
and stuff. Just out of nostalgia and Boston fans traveling to Wrigley.
Well,
I was
even
going to
if-
say that's what's going to do it is Boston fans coming to Wrigley.
Yeah,
And
e-
that's
e-
going to be horrible.
even if it isn't full, it'll feel full because Mr. Morale will be in attendance. And if he's not, many other Morale disciples will be out there with their hard hats out in the bleachers and having a good time. So, Mr. Dom, thank you so much for coming on the Son Ranto
Absolutely.
Show. It's going to be an awesome year. We'll definitely have you on again when we do this in the future. But we're going to move right along here, and we'll see you. We'll see you at the ballpark.
Thanks,
Happy
guys.
opening day.
You guys are the best. I really appreciate you having me on 3 times. It's great. I'm very honored, and have a great rest of the show. God bless.
You get a Bleacher
Yeah.
Bum Band shot glass next time I see you.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yep. Take it
All right,
easy,
bye-bye.
Dom.
Oh man, I love the fact that we have our own director of morale. Name another team that has that. I can't tell you one. Let me throw you a couple quick stats at you before we bring out our next.
Well, it's
guest.
only because the Ricketts don't have to pay him.
Yeah, exactly. Nor us, and to hype their ball club. Before we bring on John Strong and Evan Altman to talk about the pitching on this ball club, let's take a look at a couple more of these stats that we have. This one is for David Ross ejections. He was ejected 4 times last year. And so people are going to take the under that he's going to get ejected less, or maybe he was ejected exactly 4 times. Yeah, I think exactly 4 times. People are saying he's going to get ejected less than 4 times, or exactly as much. And some people took the over, but only 25%. I'm kind of on the over on this. I think David Ross, he just got locked in as the manager for a bunch of more years, which we haven't even talked about yet, but I think that he's going to go out there and he's going to get pissed off this year, more so because he's got such a young team and he's going to have to like light a fire.
Not only that, though, maybe think about the fact that, like, certain guys get respect, so they get the call. Like, this is going to be the Rodney Dangerfield of MLB. They're going to get no respect. Like Wisdom or Schwindel, they're not going to get the call. And so all of a sudden that gives Rossi more of a chance to kind of blow up a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. What do you think, Michael? Would you take the over or under on that one?
I did vote in this, but I don't remember what I take the over and over and under. I would say over just because I think there's going to be games that he doesn't want to finish. I think he's just going to walk out there and just, he's going to call the umpire a cocksucker just so he can leave.
So we can.
I mean, I don't know. Joe Madden used to have a special bottle of wine ready. I don't know if Rossi, if he's got like some Miller High Life or Club 400 beer somewhere.
Yeah, sitting back to plug. So, well, let's talk a little bit more about it with our next guest. Here are John Strong and Evan Altman. Welcome to the Son Ranto Show, gentlemen.
Hey,
What's up, guys?
Hey, so
Long time no see, boys.
So, John, were you just making
Not long enough, Crowley. Not long enough.
Oh, get out of
John's Zoom background is crazy. It's like he's in a car.
Well, John's in a car, which makes me think he was just making TikTok videos. Because if you ever notice, everybody makes those in their car. So I asked you guys.
I'm sitting in front of my son's baseball practice right now, and I'm going to bring them from one baseball practice to. Unfortunately, I have a Rockies shirt on.
Oh.
Chris Bryant fan right there. He's
Fan for my son plays for the Rockies, so that's where we're going to his Little League game after his club practice. So
yeah, we all know you that you're more of a Chris Bryant fan than a Cubs fan. We know, John. It's okay.
I've been to a Rockies game more recently than I have a Cubs game, but I don't remember it because I was very, very high.
Literally a mile.
Literally.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like
you're saying
like,
in the purple seats is what you're saying.
Yeah. And that escalator, if you have had too much of an edible, then more than what you should have, that escalator is a bad idea.
Right.
I'll tell you that. Anyway,
You've been playing it all day though. You're like, ooh, escalator.
we can very easily get off the rails on this with you guys, like, and just but being our only second guest, I'm gonna try to keep us on some sort of track as long as we can. All right, so let's talk about the starting rotation because Miley's not in it. We'll just start there. He's not ready to be in it, so we're gonna send Hendo, Steele, Stroman, Smiley, and we don't even know who's pitching the fifth game. It's either going to be Thompson or Mills, Keegan Thompson or Alec Mills. So how do you guys think, and I'll start with you, Evan, where do you see this? How do you see this playing out? Like, is this going to be the rotation for the year or no? Okay.
I'll say this. If it is, it's because something tremendously good has happened, right? Like if these guys all somehow manage these 5 or 6 do, then it's because everybody stayed healthy and then outperformed what we saw last year. But there's a bunch of placeholders we're going to see. I mean, hell, we saw Jesse Chavez get stretched out to 3 innings in his last appearance, right? I think this indicates heavily we're going to see either openers, we're going to see piggyback games. Again, I think Mills and Smiley never pitched more than, I don't think either of them got 3 innings in, unless maybe they're at the end, but they only had like 2 or 3 starts apiece. Nobody's stretched out, even at the front end. And so you're going to see a ton of bullpen guys. It's going to get turned over to the bullpen very quickly. And I think they're going to have to use a bunch of long relievers, right? I mean, you're just going to have to recycle those guys. So, but I think if you see someone like a Caleb Killian, who's been assigned to AAA, had a tremendous showing in the Arizona Fall League. If that guy shoves at AAA and we're not seeing much from the back end of the bullpen, which I think is inevitable, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he comes up and gets a really good chance to play a big role.
Yeah, and go ahead, John. I was going to ask.
Yeah,
you.
I mean, here's the deal with the starting pitchers is that there's only one guy I believe that had an ERA last year under 4.
Stroman.
So that's a little bit of a problem. Particularly when you have a team that's, not looking like it's going to score a whole lot of runs. So, yeah.
And it's also like, it seems like it's the same guy. Nobody is throwing real heat in this out of here. And that's what concerns me the most about it all is that it's all the same kind of pitcher. So it's a pitch to contact kind of situation. And then you look and you're like, okay, Nico Horner's your shortstop and Nick Madrigal's up in second. Now we're used to seeing Javi running out to center field to catch baseballs. We're not going to see that as much. And so I don't know, that's kind of a concern of mine. And then here's a question though. If you were to go, and this is a total hypothetical, and maybe you don't think the Cubs would ever do this, is go and get a frontline pitcher sometime during the year. And like, let's say you got a shot at the division. Maybe that's not enough for them to go actually make a move. But let's say, if they would get a front end pitcher and you slotted everybody back one, let me just for, dreaming sake, let's say.
We get you Darvish again.
Yeah, we get you Darvish. The Padres suck again. They blow up the Padres. We get you Darvish back. And now, like, you slot everybody back. Then do you have a 1, 2, 3 that gets you anywhere through a playoff run?
You mean like in 2018 or 2019 when they had, or 2020? Again, let's go look at any of those when they had Darvish. When they had and they did. I mean, 2020 you had Darvish and Hendricks, right? And then they got their asses beat by the Marlins because they couldn't score any freaking runs.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Kyle and you and who knows who?
Yeah, Kyle and who and who knows who.
I am really concerned about Kyle Hendricks. I have to be honest. I mean, he gave up a lot of home runs last year. He's given up home runs in the spring so far. I mean, he might not give up home runs early in his first series because it's going to be like 35 degrees. But when it starts to warm up, I've got some major concerns with Kyle Hendricks.
John, I don't know if you got to catch any Arizona baseball out in Sloan, but I was out there.
Couple games.
2 tree.
I got some video of you. I've got some video I took of you that you didn't know that I was taking as you were stumbling through the concourse. So just keep your
okay, I'm going to try to limit it then. But, I said the same thing when I came back from Arizona and I'm talking to Michael and Danny. I'm like, guys, I feel all right. I don't feel great. I don't feel horrible. But I said, the one thing that worries me is like Kyle Hendricks. Like, I understand people work on things in spring training and you don't take a whole bunch out of it, but you take that last season that he had, which was like his worst season that he's had. And then you got to see what he's been doing in the desert. And sometimes you watch pitches, you kind of try to listen for certain things. And I was just like, boy, I'm not feeling comfortable. So I'm glad you brought that up because I'm not the only one thinking that right now.
Since we're talking about the starting pitching and that nobody's really stretched out right now or whatever, do we see a position player pitching in the first week? Somebody come in just to take an inning, just to get through.
I don't think so, because I don't think the Brewers are going to score that many runs.
It may not be about the other team. It might just be about the Cubs not having enough.
Like a 2-1 game.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I think the issue is you've got a 28-man roster, so I mean they can carry 16 pitchers if they want to, 15 or 16. So they got 2 extras. They'll roll somebody out there, right? Even if it starts getting embarrassing. And that's what I think you're really going to see Ross. Normally you would look at it and you get a little bit concerned if that starter's only going 2 or 3 innings. I think at this point, like if Miley or Mills, Smiley, either way, Miley, Mills, Smiley.
That's going to be a problem all year long.
Hannah Montana, whatever, goes out there. If those guys at 4 and 5 give you 3 innings, I think this sounds really bad, but I think that's actually what they're hoping for. I don't even think they're looking for 4 innings out of those guys. I think you're saying, hey, you give me 3, Keegan Thompson's going to come in right after, give me 2, maybe 3. And then we've got again, there's your piggyback, right? Hey, we got our 5 innings, maybe 6 out of our bulk starters. And that's what you just hope for. And I think there's going to be some dudes who are going to be forced to wear it. If you're coming in that second one and you're getting hit hard, you are going to wear that one. And
that's why they stretched Jesse Chavez out to 3 innings.
Now,
that was kind of scary.
One of the things that everyone saw that was a huge deal the other day, and Marquis caught it, and Elise Menaker tweeted it out and all that stuff, was Ethan Roberts. David Ross came in to tell him he made the team, and that just basically he kind of, the emotions kind of came out of him. Evan, you got a pretty cool story about Evan. I don't know if you'd like to share that, but a lot of people don't know about some of these stories.
Yeah, I won't go maybe do the full thing, but long story short, right? It was the off season, so this would have been November-ish of 2019. He had finished up his season at Single A, pitched at South Bend and Myrtle, and anyway, my daughter was in the hospital. I won't go through all that stuff, but I got a DM on Twitter from some guy, and he's just, hey, is there anything I can do? Just want to let you know I heard about your story. We've been praying for your family. And I was like, yeah, we got, like a little Amazon wish list. People are sending cards, whatever. He's like, yeah, what's the address? I'll send a card. And my wife texted me or called or something a few days later and was like, hey, who's this Ethan Roberts guy? And I was like, oh, it's that. Like I knew of him from us covering the minors and stuff, but I had never interacted with the guy, never talked to him. And it was Ethan. So he'd heard about it. He wrote her a letter. Or a little card and had his baseball card from the South Bend Cubs that he'd autographed. And we've kept in touch since. And then when he came through town, I live in Indianapolis, when he came through town with the Iowa Cubs last year, we got a chance to meet him. And then his wife was there, his little boy. His wife was very pregnant at the time. She ended up having a baby. We sent him like a little thing of flowers, little stuffed animal, whatever. And so we've kind of just kept in touch on that stuff over the years. And it's just been really, really cool then to see that, because that's a dude, again, we talk about this rotation, we talk about the bullpen, whatever, but there's guys like Ethan Roberts, Scott Efros, Justin Steele's another one I've gotten to interview and get to know over. So like for me, I'm looking at saying these guys might suck, but there's some dudes here who I'm like really emotionally invested in, and I'm really excited to see them. I'd rather have the Cubs be a lot better, but if they're not going to be that good, give some opportunities to these young guys and let them go. I don't want to see Stephen Brault out there, to be honest.
I actually said that in the offseason when we were talking about all this stuff. That was my one thing. If they're not going to go for it, I want to see young guys every day. I want to see them get their opportunities rather than running out like what you're saying, like Stephen Brault, for just to pick up a couple innings. Like that's going to be the worst case scenario of a Cubs season.
Yeah, and that's what question from Jedi of Chicago. So I guess this is how you guys all feel about it. The thing I want to know about the pitching this year is, can Thompson and Steele take that next step? Because that will show if the Cubs can develop hitters. And I think that's exactly what you said. Let's see if they can. because they're going to have to get through it, those tight moments, in order to they're just going to have to get through it. Otherwise, they're not going to learn to be the pitchers that they need to be. It's like we saw that with Kyle Hendricks when he came up. Remember, like Joe would never let him get to that third time through the order, just like protect him. And then he figured it out one day, and then you could move him. So I would like to see that kind of process too. So you guys, I know Evan, you got a hard out at 7:30. So I'll let you go. And John, if you want to stay on a little bit longer, we're waiting on one more guest to come through. I don't know. You probably can't because you're at a Little League.
I have until my kids get in the car.
John's the one that had the hard stop. I got a couple more minutes. My
got
son's on the phone
probably
with
about
Clayton
10 minutes.
Kershaw, so I'm just trying to go jump on. I got Clayton Kershaw on hold on the other line right now. Actually.
Yeah, no, that's what you had said. But we'll let you go. I have one question before you guys leave, and it's from my Twitter poll to see. And this, I have a question. The question is number of different starting pitchers used by the Cubs this year. Over under 11.5. People guessed the over at 61%. What would you guys say there?
What did they use last year? Do you know?
It was, I believe, 11.
Yeah, I'll go under.
I'll take the over just because I think they'll probably use 6 within the first week, and then you've got Miley. There's 7. I think Chavez starts as an opener. There's 8.
Yeah, I was going to say,
talk about injuries.
The whole opener thing throws like a wrench into the whole question because, like, how do they count when you're doing that? But
I would like for them to use an opener for Hendricks, have him throw an inning in the bullpen, and then come in the second so he can avoid the first inning of death with giving up 4 or 5 homers.
Comes in the bullpen.
Yeah. Have him come in as a reliever, bulk starter.
Well, guys, I do want to say happy opening day, Eve. I love your work.
Good to you.
I love both of you. I love both of your work. I can't wait to see you at the ballpark. We're gonna have a great year, regardless of that this is it's different here now, which is now.
It is now. There's a casino.
Yeah, it's different. It's different, but we're the same. So a little bit older, a little bit smarter, and like Dom said, but I think we're gonna have a good time either way.
And Johnny, I wanted to thank you, the wife, the kids, and Teddy, who likes me better than Evan, for everything. It was a blast out in Arizona.
Teddy's a sellout, man. That's my dog, just in case you guys are wondering.
Well, thanks for coming on. We'll see you at the ballpark.
Right,
Peace.
Bye, man.
Where did Michael go?
Get a beer.
Oh yeah, he sounded like he already had a few beers. He's like, this is what happens when you get into your 40s. Like you take the one sip and you're instant slur. You ever notice that?
Yeah, and the peen.
Yeah, exactly. You instantly have to pee and you instantly slur your words. Should we let him back in, or we think he's too drunk?
All right, we'll let him.
Right,
he didn't shut down the show like I did.
Yeah,
so.
he didn't shut down the show. So let me share another just quick poll that I took. Oh, well, I was going to do that. Crawley, this one's about you. Number of times that Crawley will get on marquee during the season, over under 3.5. People took the over on that one, and I think I even put the over under too low.
Did the Taylor McGregor spot count as anything?
No.
Or no, the season, the regular season. Okay.
Regular season.
Okay, I'm gonna work on it.
So our next guest, we're gonna have on a very funny comedian named Joe Kilgallon. We'll pop him on there. Hey, Joe.
What's up, Joe?
Oh, we're having some technical difficulties. I think we can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. You might be able to hear us, but the other person I was going to bring on is Sara Sanchez.
Hey!
Can we hear Sara?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. We just can't hear Joe. He'll fix his stuff live and on air. We'll figure it out. I hear some crackling, so that's always a good sign when you're doing sound. So I was going to have Sara and Joe on to talk specifically about the Cubs outfield, which Sara and I have talked about on Bleed Cubbie Blue or a Cup of Cubbie Blue a bunch of times, and there was an article on Bleed Cubbie Blue all about it. But talking about an "it's different here" situation. The only real lock you got that you're going to throw out there every day, I think you'd agree, Sara, is Seiya Suzuki, and then you got kind of a by committee. I don't even know if we know who made the team yet. Do we?
I haven't seen a final word on that. Actually, let me go check the site right now to see if Al's got the final 28-man roster. But I haven't seen it. I've been running around like a crazy person today.
Let me just say breaking news. I walked around Wrigley Field, and I don't know if it counts for anything, but the banner has Clint Frazier out there.
Might mean something.
I mean, he's obviously one of the guys who should be on the 28-man roster. He's part of the 7-headed outfield monster. It would have been more of a surprise to me if Clint Frazier was not.
He got billing with Alec Mills.
Exciting. I remember when those banners used to have Javier Baez and Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant on them.
Yeah, those were different. That was a different situation at that point. Michael, I think you have unplugged your mic somehow because you are no longer talking through your microphone. Yeah, you're
still no Joe Kilgallon.
Still no Joe Kilgallon. I don't know what's going on.
I will tell you, I did go to see his comedy routine. It was quite good. The wife and I went out there in Schaumburg. It was good. Yeah, and I will say this, that Joe's work as a mime is really great too. So that might be how he has to do to tell us his division winning predictions. But so Sara, let me just ask you real quick, who would you throw out there opening day? Right field, left field, center fields.
Sure. I mean, I'll give you my opening day lineup, but I want to caveat it with, if this doesn't work, it's because Corbin Burns is a really good pitcher. And so it's not like if this lineup gets thrown out there and it winds up not working, it's a bust and you have to go somewhere else. I think that I want to see I want to see a lineup of Clint Frazier in left. I want to see Ian Happ in center, and I want to see Seiya Suzuki in right. If you read the piece that I wrote on Bleed Cubbie Blue, earlier this week, last week, I don't know, the days are all running together. That's the lineup that I really think the Cubs would like to see on a daily basis. That's the guys who have excelled at various points of their earlier development, whether that was in Japan, whether that was as first round draft picks. That's the best hope for a real star-studded outfield here. If for whatever reason Clint Frazier and Ian Happ turn into pumpkins, as they are both want to do, and you look at their WOBA 15-day rolling averages, it's just like peaks and valleys all the way, MVP to nothing. Then what I think you wind up with is Clint Frazier and Ian Happ doing a little bit of a platoon, sharing some time with Jonathan VR. And then you also have Michael Hermosillo and Rafael Ortega. Actually, Paul, I see your question about Hayward. I think Jason Hayward at this point is a clubhouse leader and a defensive replacement. And if he is starting or doing anything more than that, I don't know what David Ross is doing, because there are a lot of guys out there who need the playing time. And Jason Hayward is not one of them right now for me.
Yeah. I honestly would have brought it. I mean, I don't know. I personally would have loved to see Brennan Davis take over that center field spot and, move the guys around. Hap could be on the bench and, all that stuff. But, we're not going to get Brennan Davis for another maybe 2 months or so.
I don't think we're going to get Brennan Davis for another year. I think Brennan Davis doesn't come up till 2023 unless this team is over 500 at some point in time and looks like they could run down the Brewers of Cardinals.
But here's the real question. Do we have Joe Kilgallon?
I hope so.
Yay!
Hi, Joe. It's been a hot minute.
Hey, Sara. How are you? Good
I'm
to see everybody else. You guys look wonderful as usual.
So same question, Joe. Who are you throwing out there opening day? I mean, regardless of the fact that we're facing the Cy Young Award winner, which we'll talk about with Eric Wielo in a little bit. But who do you like out there? Is you like penciling them in every day kind of thing?
Well,
if that's even a thing.
I don't think there's an everyday kind of thing, but opening day, since we are facing a very tough righty, I'm going to go Hap as the DH, actually, now that I think about it, because I don't know how healthy he is. Frazier in left, Ortega in center, Suzuki in right. Ortega he mashed right-handed pitching last year. I don't think he's an everyday guy. He's another one of those 30-year-old rookies we've seemed to find. But, yeah, I think that's how I'd go around the outfield.
I got to tell you, a fan favorite so far has been Michael Hermosillo. Saw him out in Arizona. The guy's got, just a lot of fun. And he's one of those guys that every time he rounds first, the helmet goes off and it's just a lot of excitement. You guys think this guy has something that he can keep to the team, add to the team, or is it just kind of one of those things that a nice spring?
I'll let Sara go first.
Thanks. I mean, look, I love Michael Hermosillo. He's a great story. And I think that he should get some playing time. And I think that when the rosters get cut back to 26 after this period of about a month where they're going to be at 28, I'm not sure that Hermosillo has a roster spot. I personally would kind of like to see this team let Hermosillo get some reps rather than, you know, trying to do whatever it is they're doing with the crew of old guys that they've given 1-year contracts to, or that they still have hanging around on deals that I really think they're going to have to cut bait on the Hayward deal, if not this year, next year at some point in time. But I don't think they're going to cut bait on the Hayward deal over Michael Hermosillo. He is out of options. And so I think we'll get Michael Hermosillo is going to get a chance to really make the team or do the best he can in May. And I unfortunately think he gets DFA'd after that.
Did you know he doesn't speak Spanish?
I didn't presume he did speak
Yeah,
Spanish.
well, Crawley gave it the old college try. Michael looked at him like, bro, I don't speak Spanish. I'm from Illinois, dude. Like, leave me
From
alone.
Canada. I didn't know.
Yeah. Here's a question, and we talked about a little bit, 5 seconds ago about, and this is one of my questions that I put out on Twitter. Ian Happ, he comes and goes as a hitter. How many? Last year he had 3 months with an OPS over 800 and 3 months with an OPS under 800. When it was under, it was way under. Okay. So how many months will Hap have with an OPS as a hitter over 800 this year? Can he figure out that he could at least get 4 months out of it? It's, over under 3.5. 68% said under on the poll.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to say over. I'm going to say, for whatever reason, I don't really have any kind of real evidence. I mean, Hap has had a couple of years where he looked great in September. I think this is the year he gets off to a solid start. I think he knows what this team's trying to do. It's not like in years past where there was pressure. I think this is a season with no pressure. A lot of rookies come into, they get their at-bats under very little pressure. They're playing for teams like Pittsburgh and whatnot. Hap was a former first-round pick that was on the 2017 Cubs and played well, but he went right into the pressure cooker of playing on the north side during a great run of playoff, perennial playoff teams. This year, not the case. So I kind of think he's kind of more relaxed and he kind of knows what they're trying to do and he takes that next step. If I could touch on Hermosillo real quick, I don't start him against a tough righty. I think he's going to platoon a little bit. My hope, Sarah, I think you're most likely right, but my hope, or what I think they're trying to do, while rosters are expanded, I think Hayward's going to get more at-bats than anyone's going to be happy about. I think if he doesn't show anything, that's when he comes up with a phantom injury, and that's how you keep Hermosillo on the team a little bit longer to get more of a look. And because I think they're hoping, all right, it's still a lot of money to eat, which they're eventually going to have to eat it, but I think they're probably going to try to give Jason one last chance to, maybe he hits like he did in 2020. Who knows? And if that's the case, you could probably eat a lot of that and move him to someone. You still have to eat a lot of it regardless. But that's
are you saying he's going to be better for 60 games and then somehow they can get rid of him?
Yes, if he has a good 60 games. He was okay in 2019 too. I think people forget that. I mean, he still wasn't what he was getting paid. He wasn't what he was that 1 year with St. Louis or a couple years in Atlanta. But yeah, I hear you.
I lit my prayer candle for him the other day.
He's going to help our draft pick in 2022, guys, or 2023. I mean, he's going to help us draft higher, and that's what this year is about. Half of Twitter's told me.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I know. But now we've got to be in the lottery, the draft lottery. No, he's a glorified.
Good luck.
I fully anticipate the Cubs to have the worst draft lottery luck ever. That just seems like a very that's Cub thing to do.
Oh yeah, no, we'll finish. We'll lose 115 games and draft 8th. That's what's gonna happen.
And the Cardinals get a compensatory pick.
Yeah, and
somehow the Cardinals pick 7th and 9th.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, I'm gonna wish the same thing to you guys, like happy opening day and all that stuff. Like, I know for us, it's like it's almost like the new year for us. It's like rebirth and everything. But let me ask you your central predictions, at least. Who do you think takes it? Where do you think the Cubs will end up in that among the 5 teams, Sarah?
So I see this division as breaking down the following way. I think that the Brewers are the class of the division. I think that they're probably going to run the thing possibly wire to wire. I mean, I just don't I suppose the Cubs could get lucky against.
I
one
mean,
of
the Cubs
Burns or
just have to
Woodruff,
beat them
but-
that first game,
You know,
and then it's over. No more wire to wire.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in that. But I would love to be proven wrong. I'm going to be cheering for the Cubs tomorrow if they play just like everybody else. I think the Brewers are the class of the division. I think the Cardinals are probably in second. I see the Cubs and Reds kind of fighting it out for third. I think the Pirates are not even trying to do anything interesting. They won't even call up the only shortstop that they have to play. I will say this. I think that we all should prepare ourselves for a very special season of double magic, because I cannot imagine anything more cardinal than being like, we've got Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols in their final season for one last hurrah. And it doesn't matter that we don't have any pitching. We have a guy named Lars Nootbaar down in the minors, and he's going to come up and hit 900 for a while, and it's just going to be gross. So everybody just brace yourself, because it's going to be gross.
Well, hopefully the Marquee Network will not send them any Prevagen, because those guys kind of need it, I'm guessing.
They've got a lifetime supply of Prevagen, I guarantee you, somewhere in Marquee Network. Well, happy opening day. Oh, no, Joe, you got to tell me. What's your season prediction? What do you got?
He rubbed his hands. He's ready.
He's ready for this. He's like,
Pirates all the way, right?
I do. I think Pittsburgh's going to win 110 games. No, yeah, it's such a bad division. I was looking at the division closer. Like, I was going through some rosters and stuff like that. That's why I think our Cubs fans are so angry. It's such a winnable division. We could have spent a bunch and still not hurt our future. Anyway, I got the Brewers winning as well with 85 wins. I've got the Cardinals at 82 wins. The Cubs, I think, will win 77.
All right,
and the Reds 74, and Pittsburgh 59. I think, yeah, is it optimistic 7? What did I say, 77 for the Cubs?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they'll have some guys that'll have nice, surprising second halves. I think, who knows? I don't know. I think there's going to be some cool individual storylines to watch, Cubs fans. I really do think. I think that'll keep us entertained enough. We'll still be annoyed throughout the year because, again, it's going to be such a crappy division. But yeah, I think I could see them. Remember in 2014, they won 32-28 in the second half. I could see this team doing something like that after they traded everyone, and then a few people make some surprises along the way. Some surprise pitching. Maybe Caleb Killian comes up in June and actually looks really strong in the second half. Justin Steele puts it together in the second half after a rough first half, which could happen because he's young and first go around, that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, and sometimes they're so young and dumb that they don't know that they're not supposed to win. And that's, I think, the best we can hope for is that everybody takes a step forward. I mean, 2015, we weren't expecting the Cubs to do anything. They had Brian Schlitter was like the point man in the bullpen that year. So it's like, the good things can happen that maybe we're not expecting. I think we all are going to look for them. Well, happy opening day, and we're going to take it to just a quick commercial real quick. I appreciate you guys coming on. Of course, I'll see you at the old ballpark.
See you tomorrow?
And see you tomorrow. Joe, plug your shit. What do you got going on?
Just check out my YouTube. I get money if you click on videos.
Yeah.
YouTube.com/Joe Kilgallon, like hours of stand-up comedy on there. So check it out.
Yeah. And Sarah, plug away.
Follow me at BCB_Sara. I tweet about baseball 95% of the time. I post all of my writing there. And Danny and I have been doing the Bleed Cubbie Blue podcast these days, Cuppa Cubbie Blue. If you are the type of person who has been a little bit disheartened by the Cubs sell-off and all of the things that happened on Blue Friday at the trade deadline, you will not want to miss our episode from Monday. It's a conversation with Craig Calcaterra, who has a new book out as of yesterday called Rethinking Fandom: How to Beat the Sports Industrial Complex at Its Own Game. And I am telling you, if you live in Wrigleyville, which is turning fast into Rickettsville, you will not want to miss that conversation. Check it out and go Cubs.
Yeah, it was. I just listened to yesterday, guys. It was a great show.
Yeah, listen away. And also subscribe to us on Patreon. That's how we produce this show. It's patreon.com/Son Ranto. And here's a commercial for it that's also funny. So thanks, Joe and Sarah, and we'll see you at the ballpark.
Thanks.
All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/Son Ranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Son Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Son Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Son Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a super ranter today. Welcome back to the Son Ranto Ranter Roundtable. We're gonna keep it going here by bringing on our next guest. We have a new guest that we've never had on the Son Ranto Show before, Mike Pusateri. I hope I'm saying that right. I think I am. And Andy from the Pointless Exercise Podcast. And
hey, guys.
He has been on this show before.
Just so you know, Michael, I made sure that he gave you top billing because you ended up as the and more before.
Yeah, I was like the first season of Gilligan's Island when the theme song was like, and the rest.
Well, I know they had to pay more for that. You know, the agent didn't negotiate very well. Totally. So we asked you guys to come in and maybe talk about this Cubs infield that's going to be going and getting all these baseballs that are going to be rolling on the ground from all our ground ball pitchers. But I figured we could start with the catcher, which is, you know, I guess not really an infield position, but I didn't have it covered anywhere else. Willson Contreras, is he going to be with the Cubs the entire year? What's your prediction on that, Andy?
No.
Anything else I got shit to do?
Well, in fact, most people agree with you because I put Willson Contreras games as a Cub over under 93.5, which brings us right pretty much up to the trade deadline with a few days off. And most people said under, that he's not going to play more than 93 games in a Cubs uniform. Where do you come in on that, Mike?
No, he's not. And I'll tell you why. Jed has been in Theo's shadow since Christ left Chicago, right? He wants out. You know, that's why there's only 3 guys from the 2016 team that are still there. And so he wants to build his own thing. He wants to build his own World Series team. And as much as I think he should extend Willson Contreras, he's not going to do it because he wants to be able to be the guy that said, this is my team. I created this thing that won this next Cubs World Championship. So I don't think he's going to be around either.
Yeah, the same way Theo wanted to get rid of Javi, right? But, you know, Joe Madden kind of forced that.
Yeah.
So you're looking at an infield basically of Schwindel, Wisdom, Madrigal, Horner, I guess Andrelton Simmons when he comes back out, a little Jonathan VR. Maybe you see a little Rivas playing first if they let him on the team. We're not even sure of that. And eventually we'll get the baseball stylings of David Bodie back.
Oh, God.
Just for the podcast listeners, everybody tilted their head back, rolled their eyes, and took a drink of their beer. When I said David
I
Bodie
need something stronger for that, okay?
Yeah, except for Mike, who has a martini. But, yeah, I mean, what are we looking at here? I mean, this is not obviously a group of world beaters, but what are you looking for out of this particular infield? Like, is this going to be the whole year like this, or is somebody going to get shipped off in some package? Like, what's your prediction with this?
You mean the Randy Hundley fantasy camp cornerstones of our 31-year-old second-year guys, Patrick Wisdom and Frank Schwindel? I guess it depends if their checks keep clearing. I'm sure they could play the entire season, right?
Why isn't that an obvious?
What they have to pay, but whatever they're paying is the Ricketts seem to take it, so that's fine. I'm sorry, I walked right over you there.
No, you're
done
breaking up
well.
a little bit actually, but it's I mean, Andrew Simmons, is he the new Daniel Descalso here? I mean, we sign him, we never see him. Like, what happens like here with this? I mean, what I'm wondering is like, is this defense good enough to go and get enough ground balls to win these 77 games that were just predicted? Is Nick Madrigal gonna go get him in the hole and do jump throws and shit? Like, I mean, do you see this working at all? Like, or is this just going to be painful?
I mean, I think Nick Madrigal could like hide in the hole, right? So I don't know. I think Mike, you were watching the Cub preview on Marquee, right?
Sadly, I was. Yes.
Did you see Cole Wright handcuffing Frank by rolling him ground balls at first base? This was supposed to be Frank was supposed to be giving a demonstration how to field first base, and he was clanking rolled ground balls to him from the studio host. That ought to answer your question. Wisdom's a pretty good defensive third baseman. Simmons, I don't ever want to have to see, but that's the one thing he can do is field.
He's good arm over there.
You're just going to have to keep every ground ball steered to that side of the field. Maybe line drives, so Frank doesn't have to catch any throws.
So we're talking defensively. Offensively, when you look at Madrigal and Horner, they seem to have pretty good hit tools. Do you think that those guys can maybe, we haven't had a leadoff hitter since Dexter Fowler, and before that, God only knows. You guys see something happening there with those two guys at the top of the order, maybe offensively?
Well, okay, so I look at the Cubs infield, and somehow they've managed to simultaneously have polar opposite players on the corners, right, and identical players in the middle, at least over the season, right? You've got Wisdom at third, who's got tremendous power. He's a good defender, but he strikes out a ton. But he's a very handsome man. He's got quite the face, Patrick Wisdom.
Gorgeous.
I met him. I melted.
I'm sure who among us has not, right? And then at first, you've got Schwindel. He's a contact hitter.
How handsome is he, Mike?
Well, I'm going to get there, Andy.
Okay.
He's a contact hitter. He doesn't strike out much. He's a horrible defender, and he's got a rubber face. They're the exact opposite. And then in the middle, you've got Nick and Nico, who are exactly the same guy, except neither one of them can stay healthy. It's really an interesting kind of.
Did the Cubs? We were all, three true outcome team for a while. Strikeout, walk, home run. Now we're a big contact team. Did we just totally zig when we were zagging and now we zigged and there could have been? Is this an overcorrection? I guess is my question.
Well, it's hard to say an overcorrection of being a contact team when you have Jason Hayward in the lineup. Yeah.
Hopefully he's not in the lineup too much.
Right. I think we all.
To be fair,
right? 4-3.
Yeah, right. 4-3. Exactly.
Actually, a little less contact from Hayward would help.
Yeah, I was going to
One
say,
at a time, Jason. Just
to be
one out
fair,
at a time.
he's a one true contact guy.
Yeah, we need Jason to have Patrick Wisdom's strikeout rate. That would be beneficial to the team.
Yeah, and Infield Fly Girls here in the chat says, and I would like to remind that everybody that Rafael Ortega exists, and that can maybe be a leadoff hitter as well, and is also very handsome.
Yeah, well, tell Jed. I agree with you. I agree with IFG. Yes, tell Jed, because we could go with an Ortega Hermosillo platoon, right? But clearly the Cubs have absolutely no intention of doing that.
Yeah.
I was getting a beer at Lucky Door and I saw Jed, but he ran real quick when I started yelling his name.
I was like, oh shit, it's Crawley, run!
I just left him in Arizona, son of a bitch.
He finds me everywhere.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? What's your overall feeling for this Central Division right now? I mean, do the Cubs even have a third place in them?
They do, because the Reds and Pirates seem to really want them to finish in third. That seems to be the key there.
So it's just like they default.
Yeah. You take it.
I thought I saw Fangraphs predicted the Cubs at 162-0 today, mistakenly.
Mistakenly.
But I'm going to go with that. I'm going to say 162-0 for the Cubs. I mean, the Cubs have an interesting lineup, but it's the pitching, right? That's really the issue.
The interesting thing is that we don't know who they are, so we have to we're interested in figuring that out.
Yeah, who's going to be the pitchers? Yeah, we're not totally clear at this point. So please plug your shit, guys. The Pointless Exercise Podcast guy, Andy. That's you guys are both on that show, correct? You're both.
Yeah,
We are.
But
Mike's
Mike,
on 2 of our podcasts. He's on our
Two.
Bear podcast and he's on our Movie Deep Dive podcast.
Right.
that's
the big-
cool. So the Pointless Exercise podcast, and people can find that where? Just
At
everywhere. podcasts are.
pointlessexercise.com, and you can also subscribe to the Pointless Exercise newsletter at pointlessexercise.com. The baseball podcast this year is me and Dave Brown from Bally Sports, and occasionally Kyle Reichert.
I got to tell you, Andy, I did subscribe, and my favorite is your look at the Cubs promotional giveaways because I feel like you're speaking to me. But it's definitely worth a good laugh.
My 2 favorite ones: the sock they're giving away on opening day that is supposed to be a
I think we have a
koozie,
picture of that.
Yeah.
and the bag they're giving away that is too big to ever bring back to the park.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up here. Yeah,
Yeah, there it is.
this is the beer koozie that I mean. I guess you unroll this. It looks like a dick sweater. Like
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like Milton Berle. You only unroll enough to win.
I absolutely think that that's supposed to be seen only when you unzip.
Yeah, I think they put that on you in Hollywood when you're about to do a full frontal nude scene and the cameras aren't rolling
Yeah,
yet.
we're gonna take your word for that, Mike.
You've got nothing but a robe and the Cubs
And the
dick
Cubs
sock.
sock. Yeah, exactly.
And Mike, you're out in LA, right? So you do stand up out there?
Yeah, I'm on LA now, though I'll be back to Chicago next month. But as Andy said, we have a movie deep dive podcast coming up of Young Frankenstein.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We did
And,
about this time last year. We did Draft Day with Dave Kaplan because that's his favorite movie, and it really was. He knew way too much about Draft Day.
Yeah, it was frightening.
He's watching it right now. That's why he's not coming on the show today.
Right.
I asked him to come
Dave, will
on.
you come on? It's draft day night, man. I can't.
Yeah, me and my wife watch Draft Day every night before opening day. It's just our
Yes.
thing.
But people can find me on the Twitters at Mike Pusateri and on Instagram at I am Mike Pusateri.
Yeah. And I can't wait to see you guys at the ballpark too. You know, Mike, we were hanging out there in the wintertime a little
The
bit.
Crystal Kind Market.
Yeah, the Crystal Kind. Yeah, we hung out. That's where we met. We sat at a picnic bench.
Yeah.
And just hung out for a little bit. And Andy, I don't think we've ever met in person. So we got to throw like a big round table bleacher extravaganza where we all just get drunk and make fun of shit.
Yeah,
Andy
maybe
will
just
send
do
me-
that and leave out the round table part.
Are we gonna?
Who needs the round table?
Andy,
Right,
send me-
we just need to get all these people together and just picket the Ricketts.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
That's
Yeah.
basically
Andy,
our
send the Desipio jet and put flyers on.
All right, yeah, I'll try that.
Desipio
Okay.
jet.
And that's where you can find Andy too, Desipio, Desipio. But
That's right.
thanks for coming on, gentlemen. Happy opening day eve. Well, it should be an interesting year, even if it's not a great one. We'll have a good time, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right. Thanks,
be-
guys. Thanks for coming. All right. No, sorry. I'm having trouble getting rid of Andy. There you go. That's always awesome.
Andy's
You're
just trying to be quiet.
yeah.
It's like as soon as he's off, he's like, "Fucking that sucked."
So now we have some very special guests. Like I thought we'd take a look at this from the we've had some kind of new media types on here, but we're going to take a look at this from the state of fandom. Oh, I was just going to bring Infield Fly Girl. Oh, there she is. Okay. Bringing her on first because I want hello. Well, welcome to the Son Ranto Show. IFG in the house. Very nice fake Zoom background. It's I'm kidding. I know it's real. I
Yes,
have to
very real.
yeah, I have to subscribe to describe this to the podcast listeners. It's Cubs out. We got the I always think that's the Crawley Club.
That's
Cub
the
flag.
84
80
logo.
84
Yeah.
logo.
Yeah.
What else? You got to play a little show and tell here.
Okay, a little bit of show and tell. In
Please.
this corner, we have Kerry Wood. This is Matt Made a Thing. So
Oh,
you have to
nice.
check him out. So this is the Kerry Wood 20 strikeout game. I've got the Kyle Schwarber Matt Made a Thing too. This is one of my monkeys. My monkey's first baseman Chen Chen Cho. I've got all of my baseballs, mostly Taiwanese players and some CPBL balls and stuff. I have the 2006 Cubs because I enjoy
Why
failure.
not?
I don't.
The 2006 Cubs.
I celebrate that team too. It got Dusty Baker fired.
Right.
It helped us, actually.
Her 2012 Cubs is on the other wall that we can't see.
We can't see.
I've got Kosuke, of course, over here. That's the Kosuke ball.
Kosuke. And so you mentioned the CPBL, the
Yes.
Chinese Baseball League, and tell us a little bit, just to give you the background. Like, you currently kind of cover Asian baseball or world baseball in general. You watch Dominican League, you watch the Chinese League, Taiwanese League. I shouldn't say Chinese League. I don't think Taiwan would like that. No, Taiwanese League.
You just got us.
I just got to say, well, I'm trying to keep.
Yeah, it's confusingly named the Chinese Professional Baseball League, but it is in Taiwan, which is not in China.
In China, yet.
Taiwan is
but then you have Carly's giving me the evil eye. But then you also have been looking into Japan too, and Korea, and so you know a hell of a lot about our new cub, Seiya Suzuki, and you've watched him play before.
I mostly know Seiya from international tournaments. NPB is kind of hard to watch until just the last couple of years. I had mostly just like stalked Kosuke through box scores. But the last few years, I found some good sources for streams.
Oh, so you mean hard to watch? It's not a bad game. It's just hard to actually literally watch it.
The geo blocks are so real. Japan has almost no interest in our fandom over here in America. And
I love people who are comfortable
with
with themselves.
And whereas the Pacific League of the NPB has a streaming service that you can subscribe to, the Central League does not. So you can only see half of the games anyway.
But you said you saw Seiya in different tournaments. What did you kind of see when you were watching him that may have caught the eye of yourself or other Cub fans?
Okay, so I remember specifically watching him in the 2009 Premier 12 tournament. He was playing for Samurai Japan, and he just put up video game numbers. He went like 12 for 27 with 3 home runs. And like, I was waking up at 2 a.m. going, what the heck, this Suzuki guy, he's so good. And so when I heard he was being posted, I was like, wait a minute, we need to get this guy. He's the video game numbers guy. So
basically you and Tom Ricketts felt exactly the same. Like, Tom's like, we need this guy. I'm going to have dinner with him.
You were both on Discord watching Suzuki at 3 a.m.
I will tell you, IFG, I was out in Arizona, and it was amazing how well he bonded with his teammates. How much people just kind of are drawn to him, and his interpreter was an absolutely hilarious guy too.
Oh my gosh, Toy is so adorable. I'm in love already. And if you follow Seiya on Instagram, because I follow everyone on Instagram, they're already like messing with each other in the stories, and it's all very, very cute. I just Seiya's kind of known, at least in the rumors that I've heard, he's always been known to be kind of silly and a really fun guy. And I'm just delighted that he's on our team. It's a blast.
Now,
I always say if we're not going to try to be good, we should at least try to be fun. And I think Seiya's going to bring a lot of fun to the team.
God, 100%. I wanted to ask you though, like, you're always watching these games. I've tried to watch them at times. It's the middle of the night. Like, how are you doing this? How do you watch these CPBL games and Japanese league games? Because I don't know, normal humans are sleeping.
I don't sleep much, and I can kind of time myself.
Okay,
I just don't. I don't know. I sleep about 4 or 5 hours a night. And so for CPBL, I wake up at like 3:30 in the morning for their weekday games. They have a really easy to watch streaming service. If you don't want to get up in the middle of the night, you can watch it on demand. It's like $9 a month. And you get all the games, and it's a really, really fun league. The umpires are whatever, and the pitching is whatever, and the defense is dodgy, and it's all very like, it's not MLB baseball. It is its own animal, and there's like fun and music and cheerleaders. And, like,
yeah, I was gonna say
crowds dancing and like
hoverboards.
That was Big Boss Shinjo, Tsuyoshi Shinjo. He's the manager of the Nipponham Fighters in Japan. And he used to play for the Mets. He was an outfielder. and the Giants for a while too. But now he's the manager of the team that he used to play for, and he has just taken his own extra personality to its absolute extreme, and it's so much fun. Whew.
So let me ask you this. Now, this is my last question, and then we'll let you go, because I hear a cat meowing in the background, and
I know he wants to get in here.
He misses you.
He wants his screen time.
No, my cat does the same thing. But can you teach us the Saya song at all? Like the Saya, and then it changes.
Wait, Danny, you literally just did the Braves tomahawk chop. I don't think that's what we wanted to do.
No, it means something different in Japan. It means like blessings be upon you, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's I don't know the whole song, and I wouldn't try to pronounce the Japanese anyway.
Oh, that was Japanese. Okay.
The whole thing. It's a really nice thing. It talks about where he comes from, and it's a really cute little song. And then it goes to just like the cheer part, which is sort of a really fun crowd participation thing where everybody stands up, sits down, stands up, sits down, and the big word that they scream there is katabase. And that is a word it's a baseball specific term. You won't hear it in any other circumstance.
I'm gonna write that down.
Is it cut the bus?
Katobase.
Katobase.
Yep,
No,
katobase.
we definitely want to know that, because I mean these guys, Danny's in the bleachers all the time.
Yeah,
they want to yell the things that he's going to know. And honestly,
what does that mean?
Say is actually going to move Danny over to right field. I can feel it in my bones.
It's not happening.
Oh, I was gonna say. No.
We'll just have to take over right field and make it the fun side.
Yeah,
it already is. I'm a right field guy.
Yeah, well, I guess you like the sun in your eyes, huh? You're just that kind of.
I do. I enjoy the sun.
Yeah, you just like that. So what does katobase mean?
So katobase, you would say in a situation where you'd be like, crush one, Saya, or knock one out of the park, Saya, or murder that baseball, Saya. Katobase. It's crush one.
Katobase.
Katobase.
All right.
And so they've got like the whole cheer and the whole song, and they're like da 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 da. And then they go, They go, katabase, say yeah.
And then they change rhythms.
Right. And then like the whole thing, it's like every time they say their name, half of the audience will stand and half will sit down. And
I cannot wait to see drunken Bleacher Bum fans.
It's going to be a blast, but we have to practice it because I can't do it myself here by myself because I can't.
They're going to fall in the basket. They're just going to be all these people falling in the basket,
throwing up, cup snakes falling.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
It'll be a blast.
Well, it's going to be an awesome year. Thanks for coming on the Son Ranto Show. It was so lovely to have you on. We'll definitely have to do it again. And especially if Saya does something cool, we'll do like a post game. You'll have you on and we'll celebrate.
We'll all do the chant.
We'll all do the chant. Katobase!
Katobase!
So
we'll have to get like Wrigley Field, like Cubs cheer sticks.
Yeah,
So
I don't know if they allow those in. I think those are considered weapons
It's
in Chicago. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
even
they've
foam
got
ones. They're like you could choke a guy.
They give you the ones that you have to inflate yourself.
Yeah,
so you got to like inflate them so that you can make noise.
Work.
Yeah,
we need cheer sticks. We definitely need cheer sticks and swizzle sticks. So thanks for coming on. We're gonna let you go, but so long and happy opening day.
Hey, nice meeting you, IFG.
Bye-bye.
All right, well, let's move right along. Next, we're going to bring on My Tai Guy along with the Bleacher Bum Band. We're just going to have a full we're going to have a full house here. We got Southside Mikey.
It's time for another beer.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right. It's time.
Oh. Yeah, it's the Bleacher Bum Band. Let me just introduce everybody.
Oh,
that's good stuff. I needed that.
So we got Bleacher Jeff in the house, and we've got My Tai Guy, who's I think somebody's making a lot of noise. I'm gonna guess it's My Tai Guy.
My Tai Guy. He's outside. Look at him.
Because it usually is. So I'm gonna mute you real quick, and I'll unmute you at some point in the future.
What is My Tai Guy? People are attacking him.
Well, let's not go there.
What
That's
else
already
is new?
happened. Yeah. So then we got Jarrett Gable and the guy Sirius,
Hello.
from the bass player of the Bleacher Bump Band. We got My Tai guy in the house. We'll get to you in a second. I'll mute you in a moment, My Tai. And we got Southside Mikey in the house, and he's a Sox fan. Everybody
Close to becoming a Cub fans, I think.
Yeah, but he's the drummer of the Bleacher Bump Band. Yeah, he's got that Southside internet working. So
Isn't that where like the gerbils are kind of running around?
Hey, Mikey, I think you got to go on your roof and adjust the antenna.
Coat hanger?
The coat
I think
hanger.
he's on DSL.
His camera is completely frozen. For a second there, I thought he was just annoyed with us.
I think he's on a 28.8 baud, probably.
He just got. He didn't install the new AOL disc that came in the mail.
He could still be annoyed with us.
So let me start with you, Bleacher Jeff, as the elder statesman of the Bleachers.
Yes.
I want this from My Tai guy, and I'll unmute him, ask you the same question.
He would fight me on that.
Yeah. Well, but let me ask you.
Older though, actually. So
let me ask you, the vibes of the Bleachers lately have been they've changed, and I'm going to put up a poll that I took on Twitter.
Oh God.
Cup snake related game delays over under 1.5, and 59.2% are predicting the over. Now we're kind of predicting a bit of a shit show every year, which means people drink more, the tickets are cheaper, the riffraff are coming to the ballpark. It's just a whole lot of us out there, except for the, we know the rules of the Bleachers.
We're respectful.
Except for you were there the whole time.
Yeah.
And now it's just the people who can, they're starting to find their way in.
So what are you thinking for the how do we police this out there this year?
We can't. I mean, there's nothing we can do. The tide is inevitable. The wave of change is upon us. All we can do is try to manage the younger generation and teach them the ways. Some will get it, and some
Jeff,
will do their
this
own
is
thing.
how we ended up with the fucking DH. We want a plan.
Exactly. Though, what did it do?
We want a plan.
We ended up with fucking lights on the building. We ended up with fucking jumbotrons. It's the next fucking shit. Like, it doesn't matter, man. Like,
But in all honesty, and maybe My Tai guy, if you could unmute him.
Yeah.
The Cubs made an announcement the other day. They had their release for the first weekend series. And one thing I'm going to tip my hat on that they're doing right is they are going to be honoring George Weissman tomorrow.
oh, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, we lost Georgie this winter, and it's very sad, very sad.
For those that don't know, George, long time Bleacher bum, Vietnam War veteran. He was a ring bearer with me in 2017. Great guy who we lost this offseason. But they're going to be doing some cool things in the, to recognize him. And how excited were you guys to hear that?
I was extremely excited. I mean, I can't believe he always hung out with them up there. So he really was, Ricketts was up there and met George many times. So they at least knew each other somewhat, and he knew his story. So it's really nice that they're going out of their way to recognize him, because he's a stalwart out there. He's kind of the heart and soul of the whole thing. Everybody loved George, and it's really sad what happened.
Yeah, My Tai, I'm going to unmute you here. Hopefully we don't get too much background noise. Let me ask you about the Bleachers and the unwritten rules. You're a controversial fellow. We had that issue a couple years ago with those children with those tiny arms that just couldn't reach into the basket far enough. You helped them out. You reached
T-Rex
over,
children.
Yeah, T-Rex children, and you helped them out. But I was wondering if you could give people that are watching right now a little advice about how you can have fun in the bleachers, stay safe, and maybe some of the unwritten rules that people might not know about.
You got to get out there. Sometimes you don't know. We learn from the people that came before us. History was written for a reason. So, we look back on that history hoping to not repeat the same mistakes. I remember I was out there one time and they said, hey, there's certain things you can and can't do. You want to be respectful of people, but in today's day and age, we don't get a lot of that anymore. So I think it's just being patient with people, taking understand time to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, and you might learn a thing or two along that path.
Yeah, I really like that answer, My Tai, because you're saying be patient with people and teach, right? Like you really, the Bleacher Bums are really going to have to spend some time teaching people why the wave is a shitty thing to do.
And-
you know, and why you shouldn't do a cup.
I mean, if
stake,
people
because-
want waves, they can go to the lake. It's only a mile east.
Hey, I posted today. There's
Classic
29 other fucking fields that you can do the wave,
including
Go there.
on the south side. Southside Mikey, the Bleacher Bum Band drummer. Why do you guys, with such a good baseball team, still insist on doing the wave at your ballpark? Oh, he's got that Southside internet still.
Wow. Wow. Jeez.
Is that what happens when you get to the village of Bedford Park?
Yeah. Once you hit,
You know they got a water supply, but their internet's for
They
shit.
spend all their money on water. They spend all their money on water.
You gotta get some Google Fiber.
Oh, poor Southside Mike. Just
You can't stop it there either. They can't stop it there.
Yeah, he's tried.
Well, I gotta say, guys,
Humanity has evolved. Devo had it right.
I feel bad for this. Like on the south side, the reason they do the wave is because it's really easy to do the wave with like 8 people.
they're trying to harness the energy for electricity.
That's how they run the internet. And guy serious, Jared Gable, that of all the people that are on this show right now, I've known him the longest. And actually, we used to go to baseball games, Cubs games back in the 80s. Like we watched 87 Andre Dawson down there.
We sat in the bleachers back then.
Yeah, we sat in the bleachers back then.
Trying to do the wave.
We were
left field or right field?
Left
Dawson,
field,
right?
Always left field. We never sat in right unless we had to.
And here's the thing, Jared, you said this to me one time too. Like we just knew. We knew somehow instinctively we'd go up the bleacher ramp and you said to me, you're like, how did we know to sit in left field? I'm like, I don't know. We just knew. And you're like, exactly. We just knew that is the better place to sit.
Some things you're just born with instincts for, or you don't have them. And I'm sorry for the right fielders, but they just don't feel that.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do, but it's wrong.
And I do have to plug. I got to plug our show a little bit as long as we're on the show right now. We've been working hard all off season. We're playing somewhere different this year. We're going to be at Output Lounge, which is just north of Wrigley Field on Clark. And it's on the west side of the street. The show is free. We'll be playing right after the game ends, like a half hour after the game's over, or 5 o'clock, whichever comes first. We'll see if it rains and all the things. Just come on over there. It's a free party. They got great wings and everything. So please.
So good. And I got to say, I came to the sound check earlier, got to hear One Out Closer to a Beer, and it just got me so fired up for baseball and the Bleacher Bum Band. You guys got some gigs already lined up, so that's got to be exciting after the crazy COVID years.
Oh, we're so excited to play. I mean, it's just we had a good time last year at the opener. The energy. We were one of the first bands to play in Chicago after COVID, and now we can't wait. And the crowd was so fun last year when we did that. So really looking forward to it again tomorrow. And we want to thank Output for hosting. It's a nice room, so everyone should come out.
Yeah, Output. Eric Campbell asks in the chat, pre and post, just post game. So
just post this year.
I mean, you can go pre if you want to.
Some pre-gaming going on. We have a party every year starting at 9 o'clock at Output if you're interested.
Yeah, and we're playing in South Bend on Saturday at Garage Arcade Bar. So that's part of a big long baseball day as well. So we're starting the year with a bang, and I couldn't be happier. And happy opening day, everybody. And hopefully we're going to take a collection tomorrow for Mike's internet bill.
Hey, Danny, can I just say one quick thing about the bleachers and passing on that wisdom and rules and unwritten rules and things like that? I just want to say that when we were kids, the bleachers were kind of scary sometimes, but one of the things that made it work was it was humorous. The razzing of players and the way people took it out on other people and stuff was humorous. And that's the way I think you keep it fresh and keep it friendly in the midst of everything. And hopefully those red shirted ushers can take a joke.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. Just sometimes people get out there and they kind of get out of, like, they're not from around there and they get out above their skis and they say some dumb shit. Like, no, if it's not funny, if it's not like, if you think the player wouldn't think it was funny, then it's probably not funny. Like, you can't yell that his mother has syphilis.
No.
Like,
but you can yell he eats salad. You know what I mean?
And we don't have to all do the same thing we just saw someone do on Instagram either. We could try and mix it up a little bit. Like it's always like so streaky. You can tell like what the latest Instagram trend is because all the kids start doing it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
How many of those do we need?
Well,
Be original.
Well, fellas, I'm looking forward to a freaking awesome year. My Tie Guy, the guy serious, Bleacher Jeff, Southside Mikey. You know, it's gonna be we're just gonna have a good time. We're gonna rock out with our Bleacher, our giveaway socks.
With your dick sweaters out.
With my dick sweaters out.
Oh my God. That would be amazing if you guys did like a Red Hot Chili Peppers dick sweater.
Never gonna happen.
Joe.
In case you're just tuning in,
We think it would be
I would
amazing.
quit the band before that happened.
I was always going to ask Bleacher Jeff if the carpet matches the curtains.
That is integrity.
Yeah, this isn't an oldie fan show. But
yeah, right. You got to pay a lot more for that.
Yeah, but my Tag Guy, we'll let you guys all say goodbye because we have Eric Wielo coming on right now from the Brewers.
Oh my God, we got to talk about the fucking Brewers with this
we
guy.
got to talk about it. We got to talk. But Southside Mike, I don't know if you can hear us or talk to us. You're
Let's
frozen.
talk to the robot one more time. Go ahead, robot. Take it away.
See, nobody realizes that the Bleacher Bum Band is playing Mr. Roboto tomorrow as part of cover set.
Or it's like a Paul is dead thing. He's already dead. We're just keeping that like weird video up. To
Yeah,
cover
who
it all
knows?
up
Maybe
so far.
The literal drum machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you never know what's gonna happen.
So we're gonna go to a quick commercial. Where we're gonna come back, we're gonna talk about the Brewers a little bit. Unfortunately, we have to face them. That there are actually other
I hate
teams.
talking to Wielo.
So, here's just a quick commercial.
Thanks for having us on, you guys.
Thanks. Peace.
Bye, buddy.
This is a Cubs fan buying tickets from the Cubs. And this is a Cubs fan buying tickets through the StubHub link at sonranto.com/StubHub, knowing that 4% of their ticket purchase will go to the Son Ranto Show instead of into the pockets of rich corporate douchebags. Buy all your tickets through sonranto.com/StubHub. Don't worry, it won't cost you a single penny extra. It don't stink to click our link. This is an Amazon shopper buying things from Amazon. And this is an Amazon shopper buying things through the links at sonranto.com/Amazon, knowing that up to 10% of their purchase will go to the Son Ranto Show instead of that cocksucker Jeff Bezos, who will just use the money to go to space. Plus, if you buy all your Amazon items through sonranto.com/Amazon, you could win a monthly prize. sonranto.com/StubHub and sonranto.com/Amazon. Two great ways to support the Son Ranto Show while sticking it to evil corporations who suck. And it won't cost you a single penny. It don't stink to click our link.
And if you are going to the game tomorrow, you should be clicking our link at sonranto.com/StubHub and click away. And then we get, unfortunately, a much smaller percentage. Well, it's a smaller percentage anyway, but the ticket ain't worth shit because tomorrow you could go for $10 because it's going to be cold. And Brewers fans just don't support their team enough because they got those blue collar jobs.
It's
they can't
the
get off
perfect
work on a Thursday.
It's the perfect opportunity for Brewers fans to invade Chicago and start like the fucking Am-Fam South bullshit,
Cubs
right?
fans aren't into it. But anyway,
But they
welcome to
won't
the
do
show.
it.
I didn't even introduce him. Welcome to the show, Eric Wielo. It's time. I'm drinking a beer. I don't, longtime listeners of the show know I don't drink that much, but as long as
That's bullshit. Gato passe, motherfuckers. How are we?
he means he doesn't drink that much on the show. Like he does his best to try and rein this shit in. It's me and Crawley just fucking throw it to the wind.
So welcome to the show, Eric. Congratulations on having a Cy Young Award winner pitching for you tomorrow against us.
And a reliever of the year. Let's not forget about that. And a first place finish in the Central there.
So, and setup man most likely to break his hand hitting a wall.
Hey, that's just a common theme with the Milwaukee Brewers. Jonathan LaCroix did it. I mean, it's just, we got to do it. We got to self-sabotage. It's the true alcoholic way to do things. You know what I'm saying?
It's how they roll up there over the border.
I've seen that a lot of years, man, and the wall always wins that one. I've never seen Wall is undefeated.
So who's new?
That's
Who
why
do we
they
get?
call us the Harvey Wallbangers, you know? That's
so let me ask you, who's new on the team, or are you just running the same old schlubs as last year out there? Who you
we
got?
lost 2 big losses. We lost Manny Pena, who was our backup catcher. He went to the Braves. Lost Avisel Garcia. He had almost 30 home runs for us last year. 2 big upgrades: Hunter Renfroe from the Boston Red Sox, and then Andrew McCutchen, who we got from the Phillies. So Andrew, obviously we know a lot about him, being a Pirate for all those years. Great guy against lefties. Brewers suck against lefties. That'll be a great fill-in. Hunter Renfroe, we know what he's going to do. He's going to hit some power in AmFam Field there. But those are the good.
I've got good news for you. I've got McCutchen's lifetime numbers against the Cubs here.
Oh,
And
yes.
this is
Let's
a lot
go.
of different kinds of Cubs teams in there mixed in. So I think you've got the ups and the downs Cubs throughout McCutchen's career. But he's slashing 301, 400, 508
Oh.
for an OPS of 909. And that's like not a small sample size at this. He likes Wrigley Field. He likes hitting against the Cubs. He likes being a thorn in our side. So congratulations on the on trying.
And then did you see the acquisition we made today? Former Cub
Victor
Caratini.
Mhm.
Former Brewers killer in a lot of ways. Came up with some big hits for you guys against us. So hopefully a little payback. Another
Yeah.
guy that hits well off lefties and can, fill in and give some rest to,
So can we talk about these matchups? Because this isn't our regular preview episode. This is a round table. We just want to we want some overviews.
There'd be far more gloating if this was just our regular. I'll be nice. I mean,
hey, I'm going to let you plug your shit.
We're usually pretty even, or at least in your guys' mind when we start the season. And I know that's complete bullshit before we start the season. And then I always prove myself right for the last 3 years. And this is the first year where I will not punch down. When you're up here, I refuse to punch down. It's a terrible thing to do. I was raised better than that, not to bully. All right.
Well,
so
Cotton
this is going to be a different Wielo this year. I promise.
Cotton made a good point that if the Cubs win tomorrow, you will not go wire to wire because we will be in first place.
That's our only hope.
That's true.
So Corbin Burns is going tomorrow against Kyle Hendricks. Burns, man, the Cubs sucked against them. They only got 3 runs in 20 innings pitched last year, and he beat us 3 times. Hendricks, however, did not have a great year, especially against the Brewers. Gave up 15 runs in 22 innings. And the Cubs lost 3 of the 4 games he played. That's the first.
We finally figured Hendricks out. And you just had to give him that contract, and it was bound to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Just extend the guy. You're like, oh, what now?
We saw enough of him. But Corbin was really impressive to start the year. So if he gets off to the same start, I think he went like 59 innings almost and broke the record without giving up a walk, which is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
So they said this guy added a pitch. Won the Cy Young last year. All we're looking for him is a little bit. Maybe he can go deeper into the season, pitch a few more innings. But I mean, this guy's lights out. This is what you want.
And then we got Woodruff going against Steele, which was kind of a surprise for us, the lefty Justin Steele, because we all thought Stroh was going to pitch on Friday, but instead he's going to pitch Saturday.
I thought you were going to say Steele because nobody knows who the fuck he is. That's
no, Justin Steele. He's a lefty. He has blonde hair. He enjoys long walks on the beach.
Great to know.
Woodruff, the Cubs only got 3 runs off of him in 28 innings pitched. So we even did worse against the guy who didn't win the Cy Young Award, Brandon Woodruff. He beat us 4 times. Steele only started once against them, gave up 3 through 5, which is kind of a Justin Steele start, and 2 innings pitched of relief where he had a couple base hits, but that's it. And what do you think about Woodruff? That's quite a 1-2 punch you got. I mean,
he's steady Eddie. I will say he starts the season a little slow, but he's the workhorse. He's going to go give you that 6-7 innings. It might be 4-run ball. Later in the season, it's 1 run, 2 runs. So great number 2 guy. And I mean, Ben Steele, I'm seeing a Brewers 2-0 right out of the gate here.
And then we got on Saturday.
I wish I could argue with you.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. The man speaks the truth. And we're just like, oh, well, he's fucking right. Then we got Dick Sweater Day on Saturday.
Ooh,
which they'll be lining up for around the corner because
I'm flying in for this one, to be honest with you.
Oh my God. the more I see it, the more I want one. The more I feel like underwear is a thing of the past. I'll just stick my cock in that and just be happy the rest of the day.
Just walk around with that sucker on. So yeah, I mean, so we got Freddie Peralta, not a schlub himself, against Marcus Stroman, who are our shiny new toy.
There we go.
Freddie, we did a little better against. 7 runs in 26.1 innings. It's still not great. Not even close to great. Like that's like maybe ERA leader of the National League, possibly with that kind of prowess. And then Brewers. I mean, they didn't see Stroh last year, but I do have a slide of your numbers versus him. Ooh, that's not pretty. No, it's a small sample size, 33 plate appearances, but they are 10 for 30. 33 at bats. They are 10 for 33. And Willie Adames has a home run off of him. McCutchen kills him. So anyhow, it hasn't gone well for Stroh against the Brewers.
Well, it's not going to go well for you guys all year. This was your big addition, and I'm like, oh, great, another guy that throws a high 80s fastball. So just the same guy every fucking time out. Like, okay, what's the variance in this rotation? Like, what's the variance? I'm just asking you guys.
You have no idea. We went through the draft, or we were looking at all these guys, and they were like, our best draftees are throwing 92.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what you don't understand.
Yeah. It's like a draft from 1989.
Yeah. But here's what you don't understand, man. It's all about movement. It's all about control and movement and spin and pitch lab. And don't you know?
It's all about Tommy John surgeries.
Yeah, math and making
every snake oil salesman always starts with, "Here's what you don't know about it, man." You know? Another good one, which you guys are going to say a lot this year, is anything before the butt is bullshit. So,
so then you haven't announced your Sunday starter.
That took me a minute. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
You have TBD.
We did well tonight, but
TBD.
The Cubs got a shot this year. But
I was thinking of somebody's actual ass, and then I'm like, wait,
right.
what's before that?
So
okay.
I think we've got a shot on Sunday because you don't have a pitcher yet.
Danny's trying to hold it together.
Well, I think they haven't decided between Adrian Hauser and Eric Lauer which way they want to go. Either way, fucking go with either one. Eric Lauer was great last year. Hauser's proven reliable as all hell. I mean, that guy's a number 2, number 3 in any rotation. He's slotted in at number 4 at this point.
The back end of our rotation is going to look a lot. It's going to look kind of familiar style wise to I think what you guys were known for doing for years before you got these two aces. Was just putting it together somehow, piggybacking everybody, having a bunch of like failed starters figure it out for 2 innings and just work it that way. And
but even
Craig Counsell did it.
I mean, he almost created it. But even with these 2 studs, there's still talk that we're going to go with this 6-man rotation at times. We have this great kid named Aaron Ashby. Look out for him. He pitched great at the end of the year last year. He can go multiple innings. He's kind of like the new Hater. He's a flamethrower, has a weird angle coming in. And then Angel Perdomo, who we got from the Padres, pitched a little bit last year, coming off Tommy John. He can get slotted in. And then you got Brent Suter who can go 4. It's just like we find these guys that can eat innings, give your arms some rest, and just get that longevity out of these guys and keep them healthy going into the end.
So we think we're going to do it. So we're like, oh, let's take one of their guys. We'll get Zach Davies and
Zach
see how
Davies.
that works. I just think exactly the wrong one to do.
God.
Well, I think we have a long season. We face each other 18 times. You're a regular on the show. You come back, and I think that the best way to say goodbye to you tonight, is through David Elliott, one of our guests that wrote in and said, Wielo is the best guest the Ranters hate. What an asshole. Can't wait for him to be on the show again.
I almost feel like that ellipses right there should be the butt. That's the butt.
That's the butt. Everything before that is, well, the asshole part's right because I am an asshole. But you guys should be used to, assholes because everybody from Chicago, in my opinion, is basically a big one. So there we go.
Rent free. I got to ask you about this Central Standard Fly the L bourbon. Have you heard about this shit?
Oh, that's I know the company, but I haven't heard about this. Here,
just show it in the camera.
Fly the L bourbon.
There we
I
go.
guess they sell it at the same gas stations they give away the Brewers tickets in. I haven't gotten any
The quick
myself
trip.
to
It's
try
the
it.
quick. It's the quick trip or the yeah. I think that's the Shell. The Shell, you get points. I will say,
if you buy 10 gallons of gas, you get a ticket to a Brewers
you get a free
game.
ticket. They had a great deal in the merch shop today. For every $50 you spent merchandise, you got a free ticket to a Monday through Thursday game in the first 2 months of the season, up to $5,000.
Up
So you could buy $5,000 worth of merch and bring 100 of your best friends to a game, which is incredible.
But then you'd be wearing Brewers gear.
Hey guys, you can complain about us not filling our stadium, but we're still making more acquisitions and re-signing more of our players than the Cubs. So fuck off, guys. That's all I'm going to say. There.
I don't know that you're making more acquisitions.
Okay, who'd you guys get? Stroman?
Seiya Suzuki.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Hey, have we seen him play it?
I didn't
really.
say they were better acquisitions. There's more of them.
There's more of them, but which ones are you guys happy about? You lost everybody. Everybody you wanted to
Everybody's
keep.
gone. It's true.
Well, we got a lot of young talent that we're going to be talking about momentarily.
Yeah, because there's nobody else. That's what losing teams say.
Yeah.
There's nobody else to talk about. We have a lot of great young talent. Tigers have been saying, yeah, the Tigers say that every year. It's not paying off.
I think the Tigers are going to be pretty good this year.
You're starting the dialogue like the Orioles do every year. A lot of great young talent on this team.
You're going to see some up and comers out here.
Yeah, a lot of
I agree with Eric. We suck.
I saw a poll today talking about the MVP, and Yelich was the only player from the NL Central in the conversation. And I have to ask, he's not even in the conversation, right? Like,
oh no, drop him in the order, in my opinion. He's our number 3 hold hitter, sometimes number 1. He needs to be batting 6th or 7th until he figures this out. There's been 2 amazing, great NL MVP style seasons, and then 2 horrific, not great seasons. And you give him the one in the shortened season during the pandemic, but last year you got to figure this out. Bellinger's going through it. He's going through it. It's like, what's with these guys? Do they have the yips? Is it not having the video replay in between at bats? But until he figures it out, doesn't deserve that contract, could eventually sink the Brewers putting that much money into this guy, and should not even be in the MVP conversation. So I'm not going to be the first one to bullshit you.
I think that he got caught eating ass.
Yeah.
I think he got embarrassed by it, and he stopped eating ass, and that has now affected his game.
Yeah, and
now
now
he's
he's
Samson. He needs to eat more ass.
Yeah, he needs to focus on his Saturday Night Live career.
Maybe he has throat cancer. You know, we've seen this before.
But you can get that from ass eating, I hear.
But
only if you're smoking it.
Eric, plug your shit. We got to bring on our next guest.
I got to leave right now. I'm going to the Milwaukee Improv. I'm going to Hollywood Improv right now to do a show every Wednesday. Hollywood Improv. I host a show called In the Hole. 23rd. I'm at another show in Burbank. That's called Nightcap Comedy. And then I'm coming your way the 16th of April, 14th through 16th of April. I'll be at the Milwaukee Improv with Steve Trevino. But until then, Brewers are finishing 93-69. We're going to win the NL.
Nice.
And there we go. It's going to be Brewers, White Sox, World Series.
Oh
God, that's good.
There we go. Oh, it's a perfect combination for a Cubs hater.
All right. You're kicked off the show.
Look, I do have to mention real quick though that he performs at In the Hole, and that is Christian Yelich's favorite place to go.
Yeah, it really is. Which is why he has throat cancer. And on that note, let's bring on from the Growing Cubs Pod and Northside Bound, we have Jimmy Nelligan and Greg Huss. Welcome to the
What's going on, guys?
Way to go, guys. You
that?
get to follow In the Hole.
Yeah, how are we supposed to follow that, man? Yeah.
I will tell you, gentlemen, I just came back from Arizona, and I'm not going to do the boy, my arms are tired bit, but shit, man. We got some big boys and some strong boys on that team. I walked away damn impressed from hanging out in the backfields. I got to talk to Arizona Phil. I got to talk to Rich Biesterfield. I got to talk to John Antonoff and just kind of get the lay of the land. And there are some impressive players. South Bend and Myrtle Beach are going to be probably more fun to watch than the big league club.
I guarantee they will be more fun to watch than the big. Well, I mean that's not really saying a whole lot, though, is it?
Well, I mean, because we're not going to see any of these guys some of the pitchers that have been developed that you guys have been watching, Ethan Roberts, for example, who you've been watching down on the farm for a while, finally makes the team. And, you've got him, but pretty much none of these dudes are prospects. They're all a bunch of like kind of also rans 4A guys that are filling out our roster at the big leagues. Do you expect that the only person rumored even to come up is Brendan Davis, and even that might not happen? But can you see anybody else from like AAA, AA, if they were to perform, taking a spot from one of these 31-year-old guys like Wilson Contreras did a few years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I think that for me, the other guy that comes to mind, like with Brendan Davis, is Caleb Killian. I mean, we saw like Caleb Killian picked up a lot of like helium towards the end of the year last year when he performed in the Arizona Fall League, pitched in the championship game, threw a perfect 7 innings, whatever it was.
Yeah,
looked really good. He'll be at Tennessee to start off this year, but like he's got a chance to be up in Chicago by the end of the year this year. I think that's the main guy that comes to mind to me. Jimmy, am I off with that?
No, I think you're right about that. I mean, we got Brennan, we got Killian. I think there's some bullpen arms that'll come up. We got like Ben Leeper.
Good, man. Like,
yeah. I mean, we have a lot of good bullpen arms. Leeper just threw like about an hour ago, hit like 96, 97. He has a real hard slider that's going to be like upper 80s. I mean, I think he could be like a bullpen piece. And I think we just, like in years past, just kind of have that like revolving kind of Iowa bullpen of guys that's going to come up, like, Efros did last year. And I think we're going to have some exciting guys. I mean, we still have Manrod down there.
Manrod,
we have a lot of lively arms and guys that can, crank it up like 95 to 98.
We were laughing about all the slow pitching that we have, but like down there, man, like I was just looking around, and first of all these guys are like 6'7". They're throwing gas. They look like they could be like NFL players or something. I talked a lot to Max Bain, and we've had who do we have on this show? We had
like Cole Franklin's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a huge dude. Luke Little.
Luke Little's massive. Luke Little's so fucking big.
It's just like when you have the fat guy whose nickname is Tiny.
Yeah. There's a picture that Sam Wiederhaft, who's the broadcaster for the Pelicans, he posted a picture side by side with Luke Little, and I mean, it's just Luke Little is. I think he's 6'8" and like what 280 something. Like he's a big guy. He's a big dude.
So specifically, we saw Ethan Roberts make the team. And getting emotional because it's a dream come true. I mean, come on. I mean, which one of us did not feel that in our chest?
It's so
man.
cool.
Like, can you imagine? You just were told that you're going to be a big leaguer, and he's worked so hard and stuff like that. You've seen him way more than we have. So, what can we expect from Ethan this year?
Jimmy, you want to start off with that?
Yeah, he's gonna strike out probably everyone that comes up to the plate.
Like to hear that.
I mean, he's around the zone, which is really nice, something you want from a bullpen arm. And speaking of kind of taller guys, Ethan Roberts is not that dude. He's 5'8". He like throws over the top, but he really gets like low when he throws. So like his release point is very like lower to the ground. So he has like a weird kind of angle that way. He has really good spin rates, and he's going to crank it like in the mid 90s with a really good kind of just sweepy slider. So I think he's going to get right-handers out a lot, and even like lefties that we've seen in the minors. I mean, just with his fastball and just like the weird angle from it, he's been getting lots of swings and misses on that. And like I said, I mean, when you have a reliever, you want a guy that's in the zone, and Roberts can, he throws strikes. He has that good sweeping breaking ball, and I think we can see some good things from him. I mean, he made the club right off of spring. I mean, that says enough about just what the Cubs think about him without, giving him a little time in AAA. They just put him right on the Cubs team. I think he's just ready to get some innings right now. I think we're just going to kind of throw him out to the Wolves a little bit, and I think Roberts will be ready.
The thing that we kind of do talk about is that World Series championship team. I remember those guys coming up, and you'd be like, okay, like I can name Baez, and I can name Schwarber and Bryant and Gleyber Torres and all these awesome Addison Russell, all these guys. We were just like, God, there's so many, but I couldn't really name a pitcher back then. And I think that's like the big difference now. Cause I was like, okay, well, what pitchers came up? Rob Zastrinsky. I mean, let's be 100% honest is the biggest failure of the Theo regime was the inability to develop pitching. And I don't know if it's Dan Kantrovitz. I don't know what's going on, but all of a sudden now you're starting to see arms.
they're taking bigger risk, I think, in the draft is the big thing. I mean, when you're going after guys like Cole Franklin, who's a high school draft pick that has a lot of high upside, that's a lot different than some of the guys that Theo was drafting that were like, oh, they were performing pretty well at LSU, or like they were performing pretty well at like certain like big time universities, and it's like, oh, they have a high floor, and it's like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? So, I mean, they're taking more risk, and when you take those risks, you're gonna have guys that fizzle out in like low A or fizzle out in high A, but you're also gonna have guys that are a lot more fun to talk about. You mentioned Crawley, you mentioned like the era of Jorge Soler and Gleyber Torres and Eloy Jimenez. Jimmy and I were recording with the other Northside Bound guys. We were recording a video earlier this evening, and I had the 2014 Cubs top 20 prospects pulled up in front of me. And that 2014 list of the top 20, only 3 didn't make the major leagues that year, or make the major leagues in their cair.
Unreal.
And
17 of the 20 made the major leagues. It's wild.
And how many of them were pitchers, out of curiosity?
I don't know off the top of my head. I know Dwayne Underwood was on that list. I know that
Carl Edwards Jr. maybe
Pierce Johnson, Carl Edwards Jr.
The flow, bro.
Yeah, there are a few guys that are like bullpen guys and that have been around the league a little bit, but like there's some high upside guys too. But it's just wild that like of the 20 guys,
it was unreal.
17 made the major leagues. That's insane.
I just remember, watching them, seeing the videos, all this stuff, and it was just like I remember Theo telling us this is 2012, 2013, when just things are, you're talking 100 lost seasons, and these guys and Theo's like, just wait, they're coming, and all right, and boom. I've never seen a wave of talent like that.
Yeah. So when is our wave? Like, when is this next wave? Like, where is it now? Who should, if we were going to subscribe to like the minor league baseball package and watch where should we be watching? I mean, both Myrtle Beach, Tennessee, like what's the most exciting team if we were going to focus on one? Because
for pitching, I would say South Bend. For hitting, Myrtle Beach for sure. South Bend's rotation is just ridiculous this year. It's stacked.
Who's in it? Can you off the top of your head?
So I got it pulled up here, Jimmy. I can rattle through. So you got Cole Franklin, your guys' boy. Daniel Palencia is going to be in that rotation. Jordan Wicks, the first round pick from last year, is going to be in it. Max Bain is going to be in the rotation. And so is DJ Hers, the Cubs minor league pitcher of the year. And those 5 guys, like
that's the rotation, dude. Like anybody would want any of those 5 pitchers. They'd pick them up in a heartbeat.
That's like you could make an argument. I mean, like I wouldn't, but I'd listen to an argument that those are like the top 5 pitching prospects in the Cubs system. Like,
well, it sounds more fun than the one we're going to see at Wrigley.
So
except for Stroman, yeah. I mean,
except for Stroman.
I got to tell you, Greg, I'm throwing the first pitch at South Bend this Saturday.
Oh, dude, I knew you guys were going up there, but yeah, that's sick. That's so cool.
I got to ask you a question. If I could ask anyone to catch it, who would you say like to catch it? I mean, obviously I got my favorite, I'm a little biased, but if you could throw that ball to anybody at South Bend, who do you throw it to?
I mean, I'd probably throw it to Max, right? I mean, that'd be pretty sweet to throw it to Max Bain. I mean, I feel like you could have a pretty good conversation with him after you throw in a strike there. So I'd pick Max Bain probably, but I don't know. But if you're going for like the top prospect, it's different. Are you going for the guy that you can say you threw the ball to the top prospect?
Yeah. Like in years later when he's in the All-Star game, like, yeah, I threw a pitch to the
I'm throwing to the guy with the most range.
I don't know, Jimmy, who'd you throw to?
If you're going for like the guy that's gonna have the best major league career, I'd say Jordan Wicks probably, or Cole Franklin.
Cole Franklin. I probably go Cole Franklin. I dig Cole Franklin, man. I think he's good.
Dude, I swear to God, I went out. So he's been on the show and stuff, and I've talked to him on Twitter for a while. And all of a sudden, like I've been talking to a couple of these guys, for a while, and all of a sudden, but Cole's like Crawley, just like out of nowhere, like I didn't even see him. He saw me, and I was like, oh,
That's
dude,
sweet.
Big hug, just like. We were talking earlier with Evan Altman about his story with Ethan Roberts. And when you get to know some of these young guys and talk to them and start to develop relationships, like you pull for them so goddamn hard. It's like, I don't think people who don't watch minor league baseball really understand that.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm sure I missed the part when you had Evan on. I'm sure he went into detail, but it's like with Ethan Roberts, like seeing that clip of David Ross telling Ethan Roberts he made that team. It was like, that was so, I took in every bit of content I could from that because like, that was so cool. It's like when we had him on the show, Ethan Roberts on the show earlier this offseason, we had him on and he was great. The entire episode long, just a super nice guy, just answered all the questions that we had, all that good stuff. we stopped recording, and then we sat there and chatted with him for another 45 minutes, Jimmy. It was like we just had a full blown other conversation forever, and just him talking about his love and passion for his hometown and what he's bringing to the kids, training the kids down there and all that good stuff. It's like he's a good dude. It's like you're rooting for these guys as more than just like, okay, be good for the Cubs because I like the Cubs. It's like Ethan Roberts is a cool guy. I want him to do well.
It's weird because when you go in the backfields, a lot of times these families come out to watch their kids. Like you'll see the dads of some of these pitchers, the moms, and it's just like you see like how much they like everything's kind of in there and to try to finally make it and break it into the major leagues. People just don't understand the amount of work and how hard it is and the amount of sacrifices these families make as well. And
how shitty it is when these guys get cut. I mean, because like the final rosters are getting ready to be thrown out here literally like anytime. I mean, the opening day is for the other affiliates on Friday. So like these the rosters should be dropping anytime now. But like, so we're going to get those rosters and see what guys have been cut. And that sucks, because like there's guys with Ethan Roberts' story or with Cole Franklin's story that like we want to root for so hard, but they just ended up getting cut recently, and it's out of their control. A lot of times they've put in the effort, but it's like that's tough. That stuff is like one of us like following these prospects.
Yeah, I mean, we had a really good relationship with Carl Edwards Jr. over at Club 400.
Yeah,
and he became close to a lot of us, texting to us and stuff like that. And now I think he's with Washington. So I mean, he's still kind of trying to hold on. You see Mike Montgomery trying. I think it's AAA New York Mets, and it's just like, boy, think about that.
It's a brutal business, I had a friend who it's kind of similar. It's like showbiz, she had a pretty good role in The Human Centipede. She actually was the middle centipede, the middle part of the centipede.
Oh, that's the easiest one to play.
Yeah, exactly. No lines.
And just it's just the one we all remember.
Just be careful to clear your YouTube history before your kids get on the YouTube there.
But
she derailed this podcast like hell.
No, but I know I love doing that towards the end. Listen, we've been on for 2 hours. It's not derailed my laugh. I've been keeping this thing together, and I'm done. All right, I'm done.
You've been holding it together the whole time. He's like,
I know.
By the way, I know the center of
I do. And but anyway, she had to quit her job because she got famous for being in that movie, but that was a buyout.
Sure.
She didn't make a lot of money, just like these minor leaguers. She did that movie. It was a foreign film. She was non-union, blah blah blah, and then she was just out.
She was for sure non-union.
Yeah. The other parts of the centipede were union. That middle part,
I just went to the Chicago Sports Spectacular before I went to spring training, and they had the Dukes of Hazzards, Bo, Luke, and Daisy. I'm just waiting until one of these autograph shows has a human centipede.
No, she does. She goes to them.
I'm not doubting it.
I got a lot of people that did like one thing that they're still kind of trying to play, and so a lot of these minor leaguer guys, they're not even going to get that. And that's kind of what you're saying. It's like this girl, she had to quit her job because she kept getting recognized. She was waiting tables. And they'd be like, are you oh my God, you are,
So basically being a minor leaguer is worse than being the middle of the human centipede. Yeah,
it really is.
All I got to say is, what do you guys see? I mean, there's two shortstop prospects that I watched out in Arizona that are just amazing. Christian Hernandez and Ed Howard. What do you see for those two guys?
Dude, I'm so excited to see Christian Hernandez play full season ball. I mean, you can say that with a lot of the Myrtle Beach roster is like we haven't seen them play full season ball yet, so I'm excited for that. Ed Howard, I feel like Ed Howard got ragged on a lot last year because the offensive stats weren't very good, and I get that. I get that the offensive numbers were really, really bad, but also I have to understand his situation the entire year last year, where he went from playing a junior year of high school in Chicago to missing an entire senior season of high school ball to playing against guys that were playing in the SEC a year prior, and so that's tough. And I think the fact that Ed Howard got not the promotion, but got assigned to South Bend to start off this year, I think that really goes to show how the Cubs front office feels about him. It's like, all right, we're not going to send you back to Myrtle Beach, but we're going to we trust you enough to send you up to South Bend to start off the year. So I don't know. I dig what that move says about their feelings for Ed Howard, you know?
Well, luckily they see more than we see.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I was just about to make that point too. I mean, with like Christian Hernandez, we haven't really seen him like even play a full season. Like the guy's 18 years old. And the most I've really seen him play is striking out in 3 pitches in like a major league spring training at bat. So, I mean, just like being able to just like get the opportunity to just like watch him play and just seeing all the outlets, like how high they are on him as a prospect, seeing him, you know, kind of graded that highly in the international free agency market, like just having this opportunity now to kind of watch him play this year and kind of see what he does and produces is just probably like one of the most, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to this year. And he isn't starting the year in South Bend. He's in extended spring training, but he'll probably play at some point, I would guess, in Myrtle Beach.
Well, I feel so lucky as Cub fans that we have guys like you who enjoy watching all, 4 different teams, and probably even more than that if you consider, the winter leagues and things like that. That
You like having nerds on your side.
I love it, because I don't have time for this. I'm in the bleachers. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the bleachers, and I hope we get to hang out in the bleachers sometime this year too. That'd be awesome. Definitely have to hang out, and happy opening day and stuff. But no, thank you for all the work that you guys do down there. And if Growing Cubs podcast is where you can find their show, and it's really great. You guys have a great rapport. You're funny. You're easy on the ears, and I really enjoy your podcast. And so, if you want to,
are you guys anywhere else?
So Jimmy, you go first.
We also write at Northside Bound. We just started that up this year, so we're gonna kind of get that going, and it's just gonna be focused on Cubs minor league baseball.
Yeah. Me, Jimmy, Greg Zumak at Ivy Futures on Twitter, and then Todd Johnson came together, put together Northside Bound. We wanted some place to have all Cubs minor league stuff, So check out northsidebound.com. I'm still writing at Cubs Insider. I just dropped my top 20 bats and top 20 arms prospect list over at Cubs Insider. So go check that out. But yeah, thank you guys for having us on. Appreciate it. I love chatting with you guys.
Well, we have a lot of fun over here. We love having you guys on because you know shit that we don't know. So it's like
to be honest, we should probably have them on a few more times this year, just because there may not be a ton to talk about.
That's fair.
At the upper level.
They're gonna be like, they keep calling us. Like, why?
Dude, I'm down always down.
Every time it gets real down, like they're in the middle of like an 8-game losing streak, we'll call you.
There you go.
Call Huss and Nelligan. Yeah. Hey, get over here.
Somebody make us feel better about the future.
Yeah. Tell us about another 18-year-old prospect. Yeah.
Oh, I will tell you that being around like Christian Hernandez made me feel my age. I'm like, is this guy 12? Yeah, I'm like, does he get a booster seat when he goes to a restaurant? What's going? This is ridiculous.
Jimmy, what was that? What was that? Like, there was a player that was born.
No, we were talking about Kevin Made. And yeah, he was born like after 9/11. I think that was the thing.
Oh, God, dude.
He's lived his entire life taking his shoes off at the airport.
Well, on that note, we came in. We came. What did we come in with? I forget.
The hole.
That we came in with the hole, and then we're going out with 9/11. This is just. We're off the rails, Sara.
That's a fucking A+. Like,
that's a transition.
This is what happens when you get the second half of the show. That's what you get.
We come full circle. Well,
right, boys.
Well, thank you so much. Happy opening day, and we'll see you on at Wrigley, hopefully.
Sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. See you guys.
Oh wait, I got rid of Cotton. I kicked you off the show.
That wasn't a mistake.
Yeah, actually, I did see this in the chat. Corey Furlong says Cotton is a picnic basket short of a festival.
That's good. Doing my best over here.
Yeah. So we got one more guest. I think we might have. There he is. We got Stewart McVicar in his car. Are you in your car? Where are you going, Stewart? Are you coming to Wrigley?
I'm actually rookies in Elgin. You guys know where that's at? Right off 90
I was
there?
born in Elgin. I was born in that bar.
So yeah, we're just
he's born in. There's a booth. It's on the east side.
There's a plaque. You'll see it.
I gotta ask, who are you out there with?
I was out there with. I left Nicole at the table with pizza on the table. Which I was like, I didn't like leaving her with the pizza, but anyways, I'm like, hey, I gotta go on with these guys. I felt bad because like I usually like to walk her back to her car, make sure she got there safe. But I was like, dude, I gotta go. All right. We were having major conversations about, something that we've announced, but we haven't quite announced yet. But
well, this is what you're here to announce, even because it's kind of it's a low key drop in a way because it is the end of the show. I don't know how many people are going to make it through a 2 hour and 5 minute podcast, but so this is for the diehard fans. This is why we put it at the end, so that people that are still here listening to us can get this information first. So I don't know, Stewart, Crawley, who wants to take it?
Go ahead, Stu.
Well, I would have to say this, man. This is unbelievable, but it's the first time I found out I booked an event, and when I didn't actually book it. Like Crawley, man, from the beginning, he was on this from the beginning, and honestly, I'm so happy. Like I'm so happy he stepped in and he put his foot forward, and I think we got a great relationship going. But yeah, because of Crawley, Club 400 is proud to introduce Marcus Stroman May 27th at Club 400. And more importantly, we're going to 50% of the money towards that evening is go to his charity, Height Doesn't Matter Heart. And 25% goes to, I know, a charity that we all know and love, the Lost Boys with Levante Stewart. And then Marcus was so awesome. He loves what Club 400 is doing. So for the first time ever for one of our events, 25% will go back to Club 400. So it's going to be an unbelievable evening. I know, Dan. I mean, I don't know if Michael Cotton will make the trip out, but I hope he does. But I know Crawley's
at some point I will be there, Stuart. I promise.
Yeah, I will be doing the Q&A. I'm excited about that. But the thing that I'm most excited about is the way that Marcus and Adam from Height Doesn't Measure Heart is just how much they want to help the Lost Boys out. And Marcus really wants to kind of talk to the kids. So he's going to have a private session with the kids. It's going to be really awesome. And just think about, like, if you're a 10, 11-year-old kid, from the South Side of Chicago, and now you're talking to one of the, premier pitchers in baseball. What kind of opportunity is that? It's just amazing.
Yeah. I mean, you would have loved it too.
Danny, ever since you introduced me to Levante and the Lost Boys, I'm like, that's a charity that, man, we totally want to get behind. And, I'm glad, it took a while because of COVID and stuff and to get out of that mess. And, but I'm so happy that one of our first main events back include the Lost Boys. So it's going to be a great evening. Marcus, one of the things he stressed was, and Crawley can, tell you the same thing, is that he actually wants to hang out with the fans that night. He wants to be a part of the party instead of like just, signing autographs and stuff. So the tickets are going to be $200. And what you're going to get is you're going to get an autographed Marcus Stroman baseball. You're going to get a 3 to 4 hour party, food and drink included, a picture with Marcus Stroman. And the highlight of the evening, a Q&A, Crawley and Marcus Stroman. Unbelievable, right?
It's going to be a party.
Like Danny Rocket, have you even started thinking about a song yet for
I've been thinking of it, but we haven't come up with a good one yet, so
Okay.
if you have any suggestions out there.
Danny was working on Stroke Me, but then he decided not to go with that.
I didn't tell you this, but
it's not bad, but nobody knows that song is Billy Squier. It's kind of from the 70s. You know what I mean?
I did have one in my head, though. ELO Showdown is a big video right now. It's a commercial with all the athletes on it. The song Showdown instead of Showdown.
I'll tell you why you're wrong off the air. I don't want to embarrass you in front of everybody. I mean, here's the thing: is parodies, and I actually want to put it out there. If anybody's got some great ideas, the best thing about parodies where they work best is when it's a song that everybody knows well, and it's they already know the melody, and otherwise they think it's an original song. They're like, oh, it's great, You're like, no, this was written by the Rolling Stones, but it's a B-side from 1974 on an album that flopped. You know what I mean?
So, Stewart, not only is Marcus Stroman coming to Club 400, Club 400 is heading down to South Bend this weekend, yes?
Oh, my gosh, dude. I'll tell you what, that's why I'm in a parking lot at Rookies on a Wednesday night before opening day, because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to go to opening day tomorrow. We're going to hang out with everybody, see our family, and party all day long, and then Friday, I'm going to be hurting like a little bitch. And then Saturday, I got to go to South Bend and party with the Club 400 crew. And Dude, I get to see the Bleacher Bum Band 2 times in the next 3 days. That's a beautiful
Yeah,
thing.
we're going tomorrow at Output. I'm going to plug it again if you're just joining the show. We're Bleacher Bum Band Output tomorrow, right after the game, and then we're playing at Garage Arcade Bar on Saturday night, and it's fun. That place looks really fun. It's actually a video arcade, so we can play all
the retro Galaga, Miss Pac-Man, air hockey.
Yeah,
tables.
we'll be up there jamming. And you guys will be down there playing Galaga. Like, how cool is that?
I asked my wife if I could bring a pair of her panties to throw on the stage.
Oh,
but
yeah.
She turned me down.
Oh, damn it. That's okay. I got a pair of your wife's panties already. Ooh.
And
Hey, I did want to announce tonight that Club 400 is obviously working with Obvious Shirts for the Marcus Stroman event. And we have a couple items that are going to be awesome. But I will tell you this. The Stro Show logo that Brandon Ort came up with is going to look so good on a t-shirt or hat. We're going to do 2 t-shirts and a hat. Those are pretty much going to be the main items, and you can pre-order those with your tickets. But always happy to work with Joe from Obvious Shirts. Can't wait to go to the store tomorrow. Check in.
Oh,
with
it's
him
great.
and-
I hung out with Joe the other day. It just invited me in, had a cup of coffee, sat there talking to Joe for a little bit, and the show's coming together. We had Bill Watts from Fly the Wood. Art came out there, made them him an awesome wooden sign, and that's the beauty of what you do at Club 400, what we try to do here at Son Ranto, and what all the ranters out there in Ranterville do is like we try to bring people together. We're Cub fans. This is the one thing we have in common. We're all different kinds of people from different walks of life, but we all have this one thing in common. We need to bring it together. Like Joe working with us, he could big time us. Look, I mean, I'm wearing an Obvious shirt right now. I got opening day. I can't really stand up here. Hold on.
I will tell you, I went to
opening day is a holiday, is what it says.
I went to Joe's store today, and they were working furiously. Last minute touch-ups.
I bet they were.
So
yeah.
we're all working together to make this thing happen and make make this Cubs season fun. And I just know for a fact, Stewart, that even maybe this might even be better than one of those years that we're going to go to the World Series and stuff. Even though that's a hell of a lot of fun, we already lived through that. I want the Cubs to be good, of course, but for me, it's all about like this. What we do together, hanging out with the players. Like, hey, they'll have a little bit more time on their hands anyway. It won't be quite as intense at Wrigley Field, maybe, and so maybe they can hang out with us a little bit more. Maybe the Cubs will be a little bit more fan friendly, like they were the other day, giving me free tickets and letting people into the ballpark, hitting targets and stuff like that. So
now, Stewart,
to be fair, if the season's not in doubt, maybe the guys, we keep them away from some of those things that they were doing in the 80s when they would go out to the bars too much after day games and stuff like that.
Well, Stewart's not going to help him with that.
now, Stewart is throwing out the first pitch on Sunday. Are you doing it from the mound or in front of the mound?
Oh, no, I do it from the mound, man. I mean
from the mound, for sure.
I was, playing Randy Hunley's fantasy camp, and I'll tell you what, that the first base throw is not easy. Shortstop even harder, obviously, but man, that's a long ways to go. But I'm definitely going to take it straight from the mound. Crawley, I mean, I don't know what kind of game you got, but I'm guaranteeing you, I'm not bouncing. I'm at least going to throw it high on purpose.
Have you practiced it?
I mean, you know what? I'm going to have to practice a little bit. I might throw a few pitches before. Maybe I'll hook up with Cole Franklin or something. But I do want to warm up a little bit because you can look like a fool when you haven't thrown a baseball in like 6 months.
Yeah,
I think you're throwing it on Sunday, which is the warmer day. I'm a little nervous.
I'll be hungover that day.
That is a good point. That is a good point.
Yeah, well, you'll be like Michael Jordan in his sick game where he scored 70 points. You'll throw a strike 90 miles an hour. I can see it right now.
Dude,
would it be weird to go underhand?
Do you guys understand what's going to happen now for the next 4 days? I mean, oh my gosh, dude. we're going back to baseball heaven. We really are.
Yep, we are, and we're coming back to Wrigley, which is actually tonight's closing song, and I'll play us out with that.
Real quick, I got one more announcement.
Yeah, give it to us.
Crawley doesn't even know this stuff. Crawley doesn't even know this stuff.
Here we go.
Crawley knows everything, but
not this.
Shortly, pretty soon, we're going to be releasing a program similar to how the way I met Nicole last year when she reached out on social media and she was looking to get her friend one last game at Wrigley. I met Nicole and we came through and delivered Heather's last wish and gave her an unbelievable day at Wrigley Field. And Nicole, ever since, she wanted to help out and give back. And so I kind of brought her in the fold, and we want to do that kind of thing. We want to bring fans to back to Wrigley Field that can't make it or having difficulties getting there. So we're going to host 4 to 5 families this year and give a first-class experience at Wrigley Field, tickets, transportation, money for food, on-field opportunities, and a lot of great other things. So it's one of the things we've been working on for a while. One of the reasons why I brought Nicole on. We want to continue the spirit of Heather, and I think we're actually going to name it after Heather. So look forward to that program coming out soon. But more than anything, thank you everybody for your support. Without you guys, we can't do it. Without you guys buying the tickets, it means the world to me. And I'm just happy that we come together as a family like we have, and we all love Cubs baseball. And tomorrow is Christmas.
Yep. Tomorrow is Christmas, and happy opening day, Stewart. And can't wait to toss a few back with you tomorrow and celebrate the start of our new year as Cub fans. And well, let's wrap it up here. I have announcements that I've been forgetting to make this entire time, which is that we are doing Chance for a Chance tonight. And I saw that 2 people actually, they already try to get into if you type Chance into the chat, hashtag capital CHANCE, you could win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me if you type Chance into the chat right now. So just do that right now before, and then we'll play Coming Back to Wrigley. So I'm super excited about this year. I'm not necessarily excited about the baseball, but I am excited about everything that, hanging out with you guys and doing a bunch of shows and talking about the Cubs and complaining and being happy and getting drunk.
I'm excited that this is possibly going to be the first year that it's like that COVID's not going to just keep me away. You know what I mean? Even I went one game each year and just kind of felt odd. I think this year is gonna be better. A lot of these numbers are down. I'm excited about getting out there and just hanging out with you guys up there in Wrigleyville.
We should do a show with 3 of us sitting on the futon, or bound down at Wrigley.
When's your first trip to Chicago, Cotton?
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking that Stroman event sounds like the best.
Yeah, you should come out because you know what you got the next day. You got Cubs. I know it's South Side, but the Cubs versus White Sox Crosstown Classic.
Yeah, no, I was actually thinking about the Danny and I were just talking about this the other day, but I was thinking maybe the Dodgers game in May, but that Stroman event sounds amazing, Stu.
I know, and Crowley, have you been working on your questions and stuff or what?
Oh, dude, I literally been workshopping them. I got some good stuff, man.
He's been trying them out on me.
It's like Cubs convention where I have a whole year to kind of prep it, but this time I got a little less time, but I'm more motivated. So I'm workshopping it. I think it's gonna be fun.
Okay, last chance to get your chance in. Hashtag Chance in the Chancer, or in the chat. And here we go. I'm drawing it. Boom. Round and round she goes.
Some good
Where
names.
she stops, nobody knows. Round and round she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows.
Eric
Campbell with the win.
Hey, a new winner.
Yeah, finally.
It's kind of cool, dude. What is that? Cool. That's cool. That's a nice
it's
toy.
some StreamYard's doing now. It's
cool.
kind of neat. Yeah, you can use the chat and do a little gambling. That's literally what it
I
is.
like that. We can have some fun with that.
Oh yeah. No, that's why we do it, because it's fun. Well, so thanks for everybody for watching. I had a great time tonight. I guess are we gonna do the color?
We're going to Colorcast.
We're going to
Colorcast.
We got a post show going. This is.
I have at least 2 more beers in me.
Yeah, I got it. I've only had one, so I got to catch up to Cotton. So I'm going to play Coming Back to Wrigley because that's exactly what we're doing. And we'll see you. If you don't know what Colorcast is, you download colorcast.st, Colorcast, the app. You follow Son Ranto Show, and then you can be led into the room, and we have a conversation with you about whatever the hell you want to talk about. So, Colorcast, thanks for watching. Spagog, everybody.
Spagog!
Happy opening day.
I'm coming back to quickly with a ticket in my hands. No ring upon my finger because I am just a fan. And I spent most of my money on sausages and beer. But I was there when they won it that year. A bread-shirt anticipation